Hey, good morning, Andrew. Starting off with the chill. You'll need the jackets as you head out the door, the umbrellas later on today, and the patience for what could come later on today, as we may end up with some slick spots developing with a wintry mix in parts of the Mid-South, but not the entire Mid-South. So understand, this is not going to be an everybody gets something day. This is going to be a day where part of the Action News 5 coverage area picks up the potential for wintry mix, while the vast majority of us cold rain. That's about it. Here's a look at the bigger picture. You get two areas of low pressure, one coming out of the Gulf, the other one coming out of the lee side of the Rockies. And in between is a battle zone between those two. You got warmer air here and generally colder air just kind of looming to the north and east. You got those little ridge of high pressure that's scooting off to the east. So you're getting more of a northeasterly flow here. And that's typically a colder wind. Obviously, it's coming in from Michigan, coming from Lake Erie. So that cooler air is backtracking towards Memphis. You've got colder air already locked up to the north. And you've got moisture that's now trying to flow in from the south. All of this coming together here over the Mid-South that will eventually lead up to some wintry weather. Notice already this morning some blue, some pink, some purple making its way across Arkansas into Oklahoma here to start off the day. Haven't seen any major impact so far, but you can go ahead and guess that as this moves a little farther to the east and gets a little closer to us, we will start to see the moisture increasing eventually up to rain showers. And I think primarily rain showers here throughout the morning hours into the afternoon. Temperatures today topping out in the 30s, but it's going to feel even colder when you factor in the chill for that northeasterly wind coming in around 10 miles per hour. Most of the rain showers here today this afternoon, but in some parts of the Mid-South, I'd say in eastern Arkansas, we're talking St. Francis, Cross, Poinsett counties. Those areas may be the ones that see the rain showers move in a little quicker. Not only just the rain showers moving in quicker, but that could be at a time where temperatures are still at critical levels. That could lead up to a wintry mix. And once it starts, it's probably not going to stop unless you get a big surge of warmer air to move in. So what's going to end up happening, we'll start off partly sunny, turning cloudy. Here come the rain showers. This is where you'll need the umbrellas for the ride home today and into tonight as well. But it's not just rain in every single location. Some locations will see a wintry mix. This is the area that we're going to highlight here that could have that potential. We'd say northeastern Arkansas, northwest Tennessee, and into the Missouri Boot Heel. Limited impacts as a general rule here. So this is not going to be something that's going to be gangbusters, the worst thing in the world here, but it could have some implications of a nuisance variety. Limited wintry weather impacts, little to no accumulation. I want you to look at that, okay? Little to no accumulation here, but the little would be a minor impact that could lead up to some slick spots on bridges, overpasses, and secondary roads. So let's time it out now with our first alert futurecast. It's just the clouds here this morning. Get closer to late morning and we start adding in some of that pink. And again, that would be more so that wintry mix, rain and sleet mixing in, okay? I don't think we're talking freezing rain at this point, but just rain and sleet potential. That could lead up to some slick spots on some bridges and overpasses. I think it's rain and sleet here throughout the morning and into the afternoon hours. Everything down here to the south, sleet pellets mixing in, but rain showers nonetheless. That will continue through the evening hours. Now, there will be a lull in the activity after about 6 or 7 o'clock, okay? This may be at a point where we have not just rain and sleet, but it may be freezing rain and sleet, at least for a brief burst here, mostly just rain here across West Tennessee, northern Mississippi. But again, this portion here may be freezing rain and sleet for about an hour or two. And if that's the case, we could end up with some issues on some of the bridges and overpasses. I think that's when we'll probably have our issues. Tomorrow morning, we'll start off with some banks of fog. And with temperatures near freezing, it is very possible that we could have issues of freezing fog early tomorrow. And that could have implications for the afternoon hours. Then we'll clear things out and look a little better going into your Tuesday. So again, we want you to stay weather aware anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. There's a lot to take in here in the short term. It's not a lot of impact, but it's still an impact nonetheless that you need to be prepared for. That's why we're going to continue to highlight it. It's not a First Alert Weather Day because it doesn't really hit every single portion of the Action News 5 coverage area, but a part of you guys, I need need you to just be prepared, ready for that potential for some slick spots on roadways, okay? Nothing major, nothing that's going to be like, I got to get to the grocery store today. None of that, okay? Don't go buying up the Kroger. Don't go buying up the Piggly Wiggly, whatever, okay? Cash saver, doesn't matter. Don't go buying it up here today just because you see this. Again, this is going to be a relatively minor impact. We'll dry things out for Tuesday. We'll go into Wednesday, brighter, sunnier. Upper 40s, mid to upper 40s that day. Another system comes in here Thursday into Friday. They'll bring us another chance for some scattered showers. May have a lingering shower early in the morning in North Mississippi on Saturday, but I think for the St. Jude Marathon on Saturday, I think we're going to be in decent shape. Actually, that morning we'll just start off with partly cloudy skies, 35 at 6 a.m., 42 by 10 a.m., 47 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think for the St. Jude Marathon, great weather there. We'll get into Sunday. Maybe a shower chance overnight Saturday into early Sunday. Variably to mostly cloudy skies, upper 40s there. Try to work our way back up through the 50s, hopefully at some point in time, heading through the mid portion of next week. But generally, the next 10 days, well below average here across the Mid-South. It's going to be when we start to see the rain moving in. Right now, I'm looking at the skies here in Memphis. We've got a little sunshine poking through. That's good news. We'll hopefully help to warm us up into those upper 30s. The biggest issue, I think, is going to be bridges and overpasses, northeastern Arkansas into northwest Tennessee. So in my mind, I'm thinking, bridge crossings going over, some of the rivers. I'm talking like the Hatchie River crossing up along Highway 51 between near Henning, Tennessee. I-155 going across from Dyer County to Pemiscot County, 55 and 40 bridges going through the metro area, the flyover at the eastern side. So again, those areas that typically you would think, okay, I need to be slow at, you need to be slow at moving through here. I think the bigger impacts will be eastern Arkansas into northwest Tennessee. I think the metro area barely shaves past this without much fanfare, but there will be some slick spots potentially tomorrow morning, even tonight on some of the roadways, mainly in the northwestern portion of the county heading up towards Shelby Forest, Millington, maybe even around, like North Bartlett, Brunswick, and Rosemark heading up towards the Tipton County line. No problem.
Oh, well. But that's everywhere in Atlanta. Just like Memphis, yeah. Because low-key, downtown Memphis is low-key hood adjacent. Look, you know me, South Memphis.
You need to stay on that side.
This is an Action News 5 live update.
Well, good Monday morning. Time is 7:26. I'm Jerry Askin here with your morning top stories. Memphis police now say a cigarette sparked the fire at the sewer treatment plant near downtown. Investigators say a 55-year-old driver got lost, ended up stuck on a tarp over a waste pond, and lit a cigarette, igniting methane gas around his van. He told police he'd had 2 drinks, but MPD's DUI team ruled he was not intoxicated. He was taken to Regional 1 with burns to his hands, and police say he will not face charges.
7:26 this morning, and of course, as you're stepping out the door, this is what it looks like in Oxford, Mississippi here to start off the day. Numbers are in the 20s to near 30 degrees, 34 in Clarksdale, Mississippi's 29 officially at Memphis International. For today, we'll work our way up through the 30s. That's all we'll be able to manage. Clouds thickening and eventually rain showers. Generally just rain for the vast majority of the area, but we could lead up to a wintry mix in parts of the Mid-South, mainly north and west of the city of Memphis. That could have some slick spots on the roads early on Tuesday morning. We'll keep a close eye on that. Staying cold all the way throughout the week ahead.
Your first alert traffic report, sponsored by BlueOvalSK.com. Fully charge your career.
Got an accident at Walnut Grove and Farm Road here this morning on the westbound side heading out towards I-240. So try to avoid that area if you can. We still have an incident still working at Kirby and Humphreys Boulevard at State Line Road and Hacks Cross. We've got an accident here as you're coming across. There's the Olive Branch Airport right there. So again, Hacks Cross and State Line Road, got an accident there to start off the morning hours.
Thank you, Patrick. Your top stories are always on for you at actionnews5.com. We'll see you back in 30 minutes for your next update.
So, like I said, that's
I love her aunt.
oh yeah. I said that. I was like, she was having some time that night.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready, yep. I'm Jerry Askin. A spokesperson for the Memphis Safe Task Force says there will be no immediate changes to how the task force and National Guard will patrol the city following the shooting of 2 members in D.C. They confirmed there will be, quote, no changes as of now to the way the National Guard and other deputized agencies will patrol the Bluff City. The National Guard was deployed to Memphis in late September as part of the multi-agency crime-fighting Memphis Safe Task Force. In Washington, D.C., 2 West Virginia National Guard members were shot in what U.S. officials are calling an ambush-style attack near the White House last week. Now, Sarah Beckstrom, one of the 2 Guard members, died from her injuries. President Trump's administration ordered 500 more National Guard members to Washington in response. From the Action News 5 studio here in Memphis, I'm Jerry Askin. Now back to you.
Over the hills we go. With an extendo and an AK. Because I'm the East Atlanta Santa. How do you get me to listen to Christmas tunes? You put Gucci Mane on it. The next thing you know, there I am. All right. Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Monday. I want to give you a first alert to some big changes on the way as we head through the latter portion of your Monday. We'll start off with the clouds thickening, eventually rain showers to move in here. Temperatures will be in the 30s all day long, a chilly north wind coming in here. And notice it's mostly rain, but there could be a wintry mix mixing in there as well at times as we kind of go back and forth here. That's going to be the big impact here today. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not going to be the best. It's going to be one of those situations where parts of the Mid-South will have impacts. Other parts will just deal with the cold rain. That's it, the long and short of it. But there will be parts of the area, mainly north and west of Memphis, where we can have some limited impacts from slick bridges and overpasses, things of the sort here. The vast majority of places like Selmer and Corinth down to Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, as well as Holly Springs, Batesville, and Marks, Mississippi, just a cold rain. There might be a couple sleet pellets that mix in, but mainly just a cold rain. Wintry mix possible across portions of eastern Arkansas into northwest Tennessee and does kind of bisect through the metro area. I would say, again, it's going to be kind of one of these situations where we kind of battle back and forth in a smaller corridor right in through here where you have the transition zone. There might be kind of a back and forth where you get a wintry mix, then you have rain, back to a wintry mix, just because of temperature profiles. But the farther north that you go, places like Forest City, Wynn, up towards Truman, Blytheville, Dyersburg, Ripley, Tennessee, Alamo, maybe Covington over towards Brownsville. That area in through here, this is where we could see a wintry mix that may be a little bit more off and on through the afternoon and evening hours. That leads up to a limited impact across the area. This is not going to be something that's going to be a whole bunch of issues here with little to no accumulation. I say little to no. Don't expect any major snow accumulations. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but there could be some sleet that piles up. There could be a couple slick spots on bridges, overpasses, some secondary roadways. But overall, this is a limited impact. So let's time it out now with our first alert featurecast. Couple things to note here to the south and west. You're going to start to see this pink developing here across places like Little Rock, down towards Benton, Texarkana, as well as Arkadelphia, Pine Bluff. That's going to lift off to the north and east. Notice a vast majority of the Action News 5 coverage area is just rain. These pockets of yellow here could have some sleet mixing in. You notice here, though, there is a corridor where we will have back and forth between rain and a mix, a wintry mix of sleet and rain as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours, and maybe some snowflakes mixing in closer to the Missouri and Arkansas border, the Tennessee and Kentucky border. That will come and go. There's a little bit of a lull, but there's another front that will come swinging through here. That will come swinging through overnight. That will pick up another chance for rain and maybe a mixture before everything exits off to the east as we get into the early hours of your Tuesday. There may be a couple of banks of fog. That will be something else that we'll have to watch out for. Maybe some freezing fog early tomorrow, giving way to some sunshine through the afternoon hours with temperatures that will be stuck in the 30s all day long. So this is not going to be a long-term issue. It's though going to be a issue for some parts of the area where we do have some issues of slick roadways, bridges, overpasses. I'm thinking the I-155 bridge between Pemiscot County and Dyer County. I'm thinking the I-55, I-40 bridges. I don't think it's going to be overwhelmingly an issue, but still a problem that we'll have to keep an eye on. I want to fast forward now. We'll have a couple of dry days here, get towards your Tuesday with drying out with some sunshine on the backside of the day. Wednesday looks to be dry as well with mostly sunny skies. Upper 40s that day. We'll be in the lower 40s as we head through your Thursday. Clouds increasing, rain chances to also follow suit. We'll start to see some rain opportunities as we head through the end of the day on Thursday into early Friday. That system will pull away from us, and then drying out as we head towards your Saturday. Should be in decent shape for the St. Jude Marathon coming up. I'm going to keep a mention of a stray shower. There have been some indications of a quick moving system that could kick off a quick shower or two in the morning hours in North Mississippi. Another system that would come through here overnight Saturday into early Sunday that could also kick up a quick shower or two. But a reminder to everybody, this is not an everybody issue for this brush with wintry weather that comes in here late Monday into early Tuesday. The impacts of Tuesday will be just what is left over. Again, if we have some issues of freezing fog, if we have some issues of slick bridges, overpasses, that will be a Tuesday issue more so than anything else. But there could still be some impacts in a few spots this evening into tonight. So take it easy on the roadways. Add some time to get between point A and point B. Go ahead and build in a couple of extra minutes for your Tuesday morning commute. At least we get some sunshine on the backside of the day. 38 the high temperature. 48 on Wednesday. Not bad for our holiday food drive at the local Kroger's across the Mid-South. We'll be out there all day long. At least the weather will hold out for it. We go into your Thursday. More clouds, a chance for a shower late in the day. Better chances overnight Thursday into early Friday. Not bad for the St. Jude Marathon with a high of 48 that day. We'll keep it 48 on Sunday and Monday, back to the low and hopefully some mid-50s coming back into the fold by the mid portion next week. That will be a little closer to average comparatively to the well below average temperatures you'll experience for the next 9 to 10 days. The cold is definitely here this morning across the Mid-South. A live look from our High 5 camera coming from Oxford, Mississippi, where it's currently 30 degrees, 29 in Memphis, 28 in Covington, 25 in Harrisburg. Of course, not only do we have to deal with the clouds now building, and the rain showers will follow suit as we head towards the afternoon hours. So grab the umbrellas as you're about to head out the door. For some, it could not just be rain. It could also be a wintry mix north and west of the city of Memphis that could lead up to some slick spots along area roadways early on Tuesday morning. We'll stay chilly all the way throughout this week.
so he was technically like a consenting adult. But like I don't know what happened there. All I'm saying is that she tried to silence me, and I didn't even say anything. All I said was, "This seems off." So yeah, she's not very famous at all, but I just thought that was weird, and like I just thought this needs to be brought to me because I in that situation. But if she's trying to silence me, then I think she's lying. It's kind of giving. It's up there. So yeah.
When you post something on the internet, someone's always going to have an opinion about it. And it's interesting because you know you're going to get a bunch of different opinions, but they're going to be very opposing opinions. Like, oh, you were right, you were wrong. And then they'll start attacking what you look like. Your hair's bad.
You're watching Action News 5.
Good morning. It is 7:56. I'm Ariana Poindexter. More news we're following this morning. With January around the corner, warming centers are opening to help people stay safe and warm. First Baptist Church near Poplar and East Parkway is open this morning, accepting families, couples, and single adults. Guests can check in and receive lunch and a blanket while supplies last. For homeowners and renters, MLGW recommends replacing air filters, sealing window and door cracks, and closing blinds at night. The warming center stays open until 10 a.m. and MATA can provide a ride.
Take a live look outside from our High 5 camera coming from downtown's perspective here. 20s to 30s here this morning, slowly trying to claw our way up amid the clouds that are thickening here across the Mid-South that will eventually lead to rain showers here. Right now, we are still dry here across the Mid-South, but later on this evening, we could see a mixture of just a cold rain for many spots to the potential for a wintry mix in some areas, mainly north and west of the city of Memphis. That could lead up to a couple of slick spots for the morning commute tomorrow, but it's not, again, the worst thing in the world. It's still going to be chilly all the way throughout this week, even for the St. Jude Marathon coming up this upcoming Saturday.
Your first alert traffic report, sponsored by BlueOvalSK.com. Fully charge your career.
A couple of accidents to let you know about here this morning. Again, we've got an accident now at Jackson Avenue and Bayless Avenue here this morning up in Nutbush. If you're traveling up here trying to get to I-40, you just use some caution moving through there. Big accident still working at Farm Road and Walnut Grove this morning. Also pretty slow trying to get out to 240 here this morning as you're trying to travel between Germantown out to I-240. About a 7-minute commute on top of that. Slow going inbound along 385 between Kirby and Riverdale this morning. Also starting to see some slowdowns at 240 in Walnut Grove.
And you can get the latest headlines right now on ActionNews5.com. We'll have another update in 30 minutes.
course. Court. State issue more so than anything else, but there could still be some impacts in a few spots this evening into tonight. So take it easy on the roadways, add some time to get between point A and point B. Go ahead and build in a couple of extra minutes for your Tuesday morning commute. At least we get some sunshine on the backside of the day. 38 the high temperature, 48 on Wednesday. Not bad for our our holiday food drive at the local Kroger's across the Mid-South. We'll be out there all day long. At least the weather will hold out for it. We go into your Thursday, more clouds, a chance for a shower late in the day. Better chances overnight Thursday and early Friday. Not bad for the St. Jude Marathon with a high of 48 that day. We'll keep it 48 on Sunday and Monday, back to the low and hopefully some mid-50s coming back into the fold by the mid portion of next week. That will be a little closer to average comparatively to the well below average temperatures you'll experience for the next 9 to 10 days.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I want to show you this. This is what looks like a drone configuration in the sky. And if you're familiar, over the last several years, you've seen drones come up with various configurations in the sky, whether it's holiday season, whether it's St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, perhaps it's another celebration. You see hundreds of drones out there creating and illuminating the sky with beautiful configurations. It's really awesome to see. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm joined by Alex Harris. She is a special events coordinator for the city of Lakeland. And Lakeland is about to have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, that the first ever Christmas drone light show. Is that right? And tell me about it. Good morning.
Correct. Good morning. So we're having the first ever West Tennessee Christmas drone show. There've been others, but West Tennessee is hosting the first Christmas drone show. It's by Scout Elements Drones. It'll be on November 29th. It's following our tree lighting, so we'll have the LES Glee Club and the high school choir perform, and then the mayor will light the tree, and then you'll see that spiral Christmas tree light up right behind him in the background with drones starting immediately after that. The event kicks off at 5 o'clock that night. And there is actually a parade earlier in the day at 2 o'clock.
Fantastic. So what are we looking at here? These are drones in the sky just creating various designs, right?
Correct. So the drone show we have set is 250 drones for each scene, and there's 12 scenes, so around maybe 18 minutes of drones in the sky creating those scenes that you kind of see there on the screen.
Wow, okay. Did you say 250 drones at one time? What goes into coordinating something like that? That sounds like a lot of coordination.
So we hired a company to do that part, but it's GPS coordinated, and they all are synced to go up and set to that scene, depending on what it is. There's Christmas trees, there's snowflakes, there's a little elf waving, a bunch of fun things that the kids will all love.
Oh, I love it. I mean, hey, look, this is interesting for adults as well. I mean, I love seeing those things in the sky. I saw something similar not too long ago at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They had a big display just showing St. Jude and the logo and various things. So it's really special to see because, you know, anytime you get 250 drones in the air doing something coordinated like that is pretty special indeed. But when it comes to the city of Lakeland and when it comes to you guys doing this, this is really going to kick off the holiday season in Lakeland, is it not?
Yes, it is. So it's part of our Christmas tree lighting, which we do every year. We'll have Santa will be in the parade, and then we'll also do pictures with Santa. And then we have cookies and hot chocolate sponsored by Carrington Oaks, as well as food trucks on site and balloon animal artists, crafts, things for the kids to do, all kinds of fun stuff.
Fantastic. Okay, so if someone wants to learn more about it, how they can bring out the family, check it out, Is there a place online where they can get all the details?
Yeah, the best place to go is to go to the City of Lakeland Facebook page, and you'll see the drone show as one event and the parade as another event, and all the details are there. But if you have additional questions, you can always email us events@lakelandtn.org.
Okay, Alexandra Harris, City of Lakeland, with a big Christmas drone light show. The West Tennessee's first ever Christmas drone light show coming to Lakeland November 29th. Thanks for coming on the Digital Desk and telling us about it, and happy holidays to you. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are in the midst of the holiday season, and I want to show you just a little bit of this. This is Holiday Wonders at Memphis Botanic Garden, a tradition for so many Memphians and Mid-Southerners each and every year going to Holiday Wonders. And guess what? It is that time of year once again. I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Jenna Harris. She's going to tell us more about Holiday Wonders. Jenna, I can't believe the year is just flying by, and here we go. We're in the midst of a holiday season. Good morning.
Yeah, I feel like we were just taking the lights down from last year, and now we're putting them all back up, and even bigger and more lights and better than ever.
So tell us about this year and the Holiday Wonders, maybe a little bit of history, what goes into it, how long it's been around, and maybe anything new this year.
Yeah, so we've been doing Holiday Wonders in a few different ways for about 20 years now. For about the last 17, it's been in our children's garden, which is my big backyard. And that area is traditionally been called Snowy Nights in my big backyard. And then we expanded a little bit about 8 or 9 years ago, and we expanded into Holiday Wonders, where we went further into the garden, and we have now our rose garden is lit up with our Under the Stars lounge. We have the great lawn is set up with reindeer games, with all kinds of fun activities. But this year we're growing even more. We've added about 4 acres of new installations to this year's show. We'll be going through our woodland, which is going to be a really magical show. We're partnering with a local group called Infinity Stairs. And Infinity Stairs is installing a show that is going to take you essentially into the magic of Christmas. It'll be how does Santa make it from all the different places around the world. So you'll go through a portal into the North Pole that explains all the magic in a really fun and exciting way. And then that's going to loop you back around into our sensory garden here, which we've never incorporated our sensory garden before. But as you can see, we've got this gorgeous crepe myrtle that's kind of the star of the show right out here. And the sensory garden is an enclosed space. So it's a garden that you can get in, and you'll be immersed under all of the lights that are throughout there. So yeah, we're growing. It's a lot bigger and better. We've got some new fun things for the kids. We had our stomp lights. That's one of their favorite things that we have. And then now we're going to have some seesaws and some swings, things that the kids can really engage with and explore. New photo ops. We'll have a gingerbread village in my big backyard. So everybody's favorites that they've come and seen for years and years, and a lot of new stuff to see.
That sounds great. Really amazing. I love seeing the transformations of these different events that are happening at Memphis Botanic Garden. So Tell us when we can bring our families, we can bring our kids, when we can go.
Yeah, so we'll open the day after Thanksgiving. That's our opening night. We'll be open on select weekends from the day after Thanksgiving through December 30th. And tickets will go on sale on the 7th. You can go to our website, membg.org. You can get on there. Grab your tickets early. We do have timed entry, and a lot of times those earlier tickets do sell out pretty quick. So make sure you get online, get the date that you want to come, and we look forward to having everybody come out and celebrate the season here at the Garden.
How much are tickets, Jenna?
So we have ticket prices are $15 for members, $17 for non-members. But if you wait and you buy on the day of, that's going to be $20. So get those tickets early. You get a little bit of a discount there. There's no charge for parking. Parking is included with that. And then we'll have some sips and snacks. We'll have food trucks here where you can grab a bite to eat while the kids are enjoying the reindeer games area, and grab some hot cocoa and sit down and just enjoy the season with your family.
It's such a tradition for so many people out there. Do you hear that kind of feedback from your perspective?
We do. We have a lot of people that have been coming to this for years and years. And, you know, even if you've been coming for years and years, like I said, there's a lot of new things going on. We also do a lot of specialty nights. New for us this year, one of our specialty nights is going to be Happy Hula Days. So we have a tropical glass house here that we're really proud of, but we're really proud of those plants too. And so we typically don't open that up during Holiday Wonders because those tropical plants don't like the winter chill. But for Happy Hula Days, which is going to be on the 17th this year, you'll get to actually go in and explore the tropical glass house. So kind of like Frosty going into the greenhouse to get warmed up. You can go through there, see that. We'll have a ukulele player out here doing some activities. But there's a lot of different theme nights. We'll have our Snow Queens night where we have Anna and Elsa here. We have a Let It Glow night. We have some glow performers that'll be on site. So, you know, just check it out. Santa's here every Sunday. It's Santa Sundays. We even have a night for our little four-legged friends. So they can come on the 11th, explore, take their picture with Santa, put them in their cute little costumes. We have some extra costumes here if you want to put a Santa hat on your pup. And yeah, there's just all kinds of fun nights to come. You can come multiple nights, and then after Christmas, we'll have what we call Afterglow. So at Afterglow, we'll have our fire pits set up. You can come, kind of bring the family, everybody take a minute just to, you know, sit back, relax, you know, think about all the things you did during the holiday season while you're roasting a s'more over a warm fire.
I love it. All right. Well, Jenna Harris, we appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk talking about Holiday Wonders. Going to be bigger and better this year. We can't wait, and it's going to be here before we know it. Appreciate your time as always on the Digital Desk. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. The Orpheum Theater Group's downtown campus, so that consists of the Halloran Center, the Orpheum Theater. They're undergoing an exterior renovation that you're going to be seeing more and more of, this revitalization project. Let's get an update on the project, what to expect, and what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Daiquiri Baptiste. She is the Vice President and COO of Orpheum Theater Group, joining us on the Digital Desk. Daiquiri, good morning to you. So tell me about the ideas behind this. Was it something that just it needed time. It was time to get this so-called facelift. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today? The whole project really just stemmed from wanting the city to understand that both the Halloran Center and the Orpheum Theater are the same organization. We are a campus. We're not two standalone buildings. And we wanted our audience, our patrons, and just downtown residents to understand that we have a space not just inside of our doors, but outside of our doors.
Okay, and so I have some renderings here. Talk me through what we're seeing here, and is this what it's going to look like?
That is the goal. Yes, this is exactly what it's going to look like. From our board of directors to our president to our esteemed staff and team, we recognize that we have a lot of blank canvases that we want to paint with places to gather. So the Main Street Plaza is going to be phase one, is what we're calling it. You'll see a huge O that will shape the space. We want to create some Instagrammable moments, and we felt like that O that everyone is so familiar with in our name should be one of those landing spots. We're also going to do some illumination and add more lighting out in our spaces and add some seating so that it is welcoming. People may want to walk by, sit out there and have a lunch and just be right there on Main Street, and or right before a performance, you want to have people to come downtown to say, hey, meet me at the O, meet me in the middle between the Orpheum and the Halloran before we enter one of the spaces. We've already added some lights that was across Bill Street last year, which is again also helping with adding more light, more gathering, if you will, around our spaces. Phase two of our project will take place on the corner of Beale and Front Street in the back of our building. That's the image you're seeing there. Again, another infamous O, a big splash on the back of our campus, which is currently now just a basic parking lot. We hope to do engagement opportunities in both of those spaces, and more particularly in the back on the front and Beale corner.
What brought this about? Is it just one of those things where, hey, look, it's time to upgrade a little bit?
That's exactly it. We recognize that we've done a lot of improvements inside of our spaces. The Halloran Center is only 10 years old. The Orpheum will be 100 years old in 2028. And we just decided that it made sense to do things that were outside, just so we didn't look so bare, if you will. We took it upon ourselves to want to do this, to be good neighbors.
So many people have enjoyed the Orpheum over many years, the Halloran Center over the last 10 years, as you mentioned. Does it mean that they're going to close at any point, or are they going to lose seats or anything like that?
Not at all. Our goal always with all of our projects is to have continuous business continuity. So working with our contractors and our architects, along with our programming that we do inside, the goal here is to not be able to stop business. We may have some signs that say, pardon our disturbance, pardon our construction, and with safe ways to walk around while it's going on. But there's no reason to believe that we will have to stop our operations that we're currently doing in order to complete these projects.
Okay, great. So what's the timetable for all this?
Well, phase one, which is the Main Street campus, we're slotted to start that work from a construction standpoint late November, early December, with a hopeful completion date by middle to late spring. And then phase two will start shortly thereafter, hopefully in Q4 of 2026, to then hopefully be completed preferably in that same timeline. But the ultimate goal is that by November of 2028, when we'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Orpheum Theater, all of this work will be done, and our campus will not just be vibrant on the inside, but be fully activated on the outside, welcoming people not just to shows, Broadway, or music, but anything we could possibly imagine outside.
Fantastic. Okay, so anything else you wanted to mention to our audience? We have thousands of people who join us each and every morning.
I just want to say thank you so much for already being patrons of the arts that enter our spaces. And please spread the word. Please know that the Orpheum Theater Group is here to celebrate the city of Memphis, and that we want to, with these projects, be able to lift up even more artists in our spaces.
Fantastic. All right, Daiquiri Baptiste, we appreciate you coming on the digital desk and telling us about this exciting project that'll really transform that whole area, the downtown theater district, if you will, for November 2028, the 100th anniversary of the Orpheum. I love it. Thanks for coming on the digital desk. We appreciate your time. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. Well, my next guest is a three-time Olympian, and he's currently the Team USA bobsled coach. And he, in less than 100 days, will be in Italy for the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. Look at that shot right there. Bobsled, certainly a very competitive sport in the Winter Olympic Games. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Bartlett native and Lieutenant Colonel with the U.S. Army, Garrett Hines, joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Garrett, good morning to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in bobsled, especially growing up in Bartlett? Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. How you doing? Thank you for having me. Just want to say hello to all the folks there in Tennessee and Bartlett High School, my old alma mater there. Basically, I got involved by chance. I met a gentleman in college, and we drove 22 hours to Lake Placid. He asked me to come and try out. He had a flyer in his hand, and the flyer was from a guy that I eventually ended up sliding with. His name was Bruce Roselli. He was my first pilot, and that was my introduction to the sport. We drove 22 hours. We ended up paying a fee to stay at the Olympic Training Center. The next day we got up, which was required to pass a test, take a national test, and we passed that test, at least I did. And from there, my career started, and I had no idea I would even end up there, coming from Tennessee, by way of SIU. So that was my start.
Wow. Okay. It's so interesting to hear how people get involved in certain competitions and certain sports. And bobsled, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Garrett, bobsled is one of those sports out there that you can travel super, super fast. And if you're not too careful, you can have an accident that can be devastating. I have some video I want to show our audience while you talk about what we're looking at here, because bobsled, give us the ideas behind it here and what the strategy is.
Well, basically, you're taking two of the most powerful guys you can possibly put together. And this is a two-man sled that you're seeing. The driver is on the left side. He's pushing at the driver's, we call the driver's bar. The brakeman is at the back. And you want to start the sled as fast as you can. You have 50 meters to get a time. That's called the start time. And you generally have about 42 meters to run before the groove lines run out. And you'll see those groove lines. That's what the sled is sitting in. Eventually, those are out, and you have to be in the sled and sitting down. And then the pilot there takes over and takes you to glory, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. So tell me a little bit more about your experience. I understand you've done this 3 different times in the Olympics. What has that been like? Which Olympic Games, and what are you hoping for Team USA coming up in less than 100 days?
Yes, I've been in the sport since 1992, and I joined the World Class Army Athlete Program in '96. And between that time and 2006, I competed in various games and world championships. the highlight of my career was my first medal, which was in 1996, and the medal in 2002. And then in that case, I continued on training and eventually moved over into coaching. So I went to my first Olympics as Olympic coach in 2022, and that was in China. And what we expected for the next 100 days, we've started our season. We're training. We will have competition in Italy, which is the track that we'll be competing in February. And we're expecting big things from all of our athletes. Our women team is stacked. Our men team, we have some of the best athletes in the world this year. We have the most depth in the world this year. And some of those athletes are from the world-class athlete program, which I represent, which I'm so proud to be a part of.
Fantastic. All right. Bartlett Panthers' own Garrett Hines here on the Action News 5 digital desk. Garrett, I talked not too long ago with another U.S. Army soldier that's going to be competing in the biathlon for the Winter Olympic Games. Tell me more about these soldier athletes that are competing in this year's Winter Games.
Well, one of the things that we have as part of our, I'd say, Army community is that we have this program which provides resources for us to train, and it takes most of our average athletes to just another level because we have those resources. We have the ability to support just like any other Army soldier, and on top of that, we get top tier training, and that really is the crux of why we have these amazing soldier athletes. A lot of them have careers as well that they manage along with being an Olympic athlete. And we're producing some of the best individuals, I believe, representing our country.
Excellent stuff there. I appreciate it, Garrett. You know, Action News 5, as you probably know, is carrying much of the Olympic Games in just a few months. Anything you want to say to our audience right now? We have thousands of people who watch the Action News 5 digital desk each and every morning.
Yes, I just want to say, a couple things here. We really appreciate, I do appreciate, I want to make sure that this is known that our leadership, WCAP leadership, has done a great job with bringing and growing this program. You can find out anything you need to know about that on goarmy.com. I also like to say that we always appreciate the nation getting behind the U.S., especially in the last 100 days. Our athletes are going through a lot of stress. They're going through a lot of competition, and we need that support. And lastly, I would like to just give I love you to my family. My mom, my aunt lives right there in Bartlett, Miss Shirley Hines. I want to say I love you and thank you for all your support, Andrew, and thank you for the city of Memphis and Bartlett and all the surrounding cities there that have always supported us. And even the mayor of Bartlett, I like to shout out to him, who's always given us support. So we really appreciate it and looking forward to doing great things here in the next 100 days.
Oh, yeah, we are looking forward to rooting you on as well, Garrett. Lieutenant Colonel Garrett Hines with the U.S. Army and coach of Team USA's bobsled team. Congratulations on such a successful career, not only in the military, but also with the Olympic Games. And good luck this upcoming Winter Olympic Games in Italy. Thanks so very much for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. Love you guys.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. I am holding this book. It is from a New York Times bestseller, Shea Serrano, and it's called Expensive Basketball. Now, it's not what you think. It's not talking about the actual basketballs being super expensive. This is talking about some of the great legends of the game and those moments when you think about watching a game afterwards and you're thinking, what did I just see? What did I see LeBron James do? Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, those kind of things. And it is about those kinds of situations and much, much more. Joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk, I am joined right now by Shea Serrano to talk more about his book, talk about the state of the NBA, maybe talk some Grizzlies basketball right now. Shea, how are you this morning? Good morning.
What is going on, my friend? I'm doing great. We just found out the book made the bestseller list, which is wonderful. I'm very excited about that. So I'm feeling good.
I bet. Congratulations to you on that. So for someone that doesn't have this book, and it sounds like thousands do, tell me about it.
Okay. So the book, Expensive Basketball, proposes an idea that there are some things that happen on a basketball court that just sort of feel important. They feel meaningful. They feel special. And those things, there's no way to count those things or quantify those things. They just sort of exist. And the book proposes that those are the best parts of basketball. You're in Memphis. Y'all are having a not that awesome of a time with the Memphis Grizzlies, right? But if we rewind a little bit back to better days when Ja was happy, let's take a play where Ja charges into the lane and then he does one of those Ja Morant dunks, right? And he rises up and just atomizes everything in front of him. Whenever he would do that, nobody in the Memphis arena or watching the game on TV, nobody thought as he was raising up and cocking that ball backward, nobody was like, "Ooh, if he completes this dunk, he's going to be 9 for 17 from the field, and this is going to," nobody thinks of a number when a special thing is happening. You just think, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I can't wait for this to happen. That's what the book is.
That's awesome. I love that description. Thank you very much, Shea. No wonder you're a New York Times bestseller. I can be at FedEx Forum, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Those moments where Ja does only Ja things that he can do, and you can hear collectively all 18,000 fans just go, "Oh!" It's amazing.
It's amazing. And he's done it against my Spurs a number of times. I'm a San Antonio guy. The Spurs are my favorite basketball team. He has time and time again tortured my Spurs. So I know what the other side of that feels like. And it's not that awesome, I got to tell you.
Right. So tell me about some of the reasons why you wrote this book. I mean, it's like you talk to a basketball fan. Of course, we are Hoop City, and we love basketball here. But when you talk to basketball fans, you talk about all kinds of different things, and Magic and Larry and Michael, Isaiah Thomas, LeBron, Jordan, all those things. Why did you have to write this book, and where does it extend beyond those kinds of topics?
Well, I wanted to write the book. I knew I was going to write a basketball book because basketball is my favorite sport. And I was just trying to figure out what I wanted the book to be about. So what I did is I just started asking people to tell me about their favorite basketball memory, or even just a favorite sports memory. Let me hear you talk about it. And the more that I did that, the more I began to realize that despite the fact that basketball is counted and measured in a way that never has been before, every single thing that happens on a basketball court gets counted, right? And then everyday conversation, you can now hear somebody talk about a player's player efficiency rating or their win shares or offensive box plus minus or whatever. Advanced stats have become a way that people talk about basketball. But whenever you ask somebody to tell you about their favorite thing that they've seen or that they were there in person for, that story never starts with a number. It always starts with a feeling. And that's sort of why you fall in love with basketball. It's why you fall in love with any sport, because you felt something when you were watching a person do a thing. And so I said, okay, well, I want the book to be that. There are numbers in there. There are plenty of stats in there. The book is not a refutation of stats or an argument against stats. It's just saying that they are, in their most effective sense anyway, used in service of something else. So then it became, well, if that's what the book is going to be, let's just find stuff that made you feel something on a basketball court. It didn't matter to me if like a team won a championship or didn't win a championship. The 1993 Charlotte Hornets, a beloved basketball team for anybody who grew up during that time. They were just like this special sort of cultural thing. I want to write about that. I want to write about Jason Williams, point guard, who he never won a championship. That doesn't matter because I felt something when I watched him play. I want to write about Tracy McGrady. I want to write about the non-championship stuff. The championships will get mentioned, of course, but I want to write about the times you watched a play happen, a thing happen, a game happen, and you were like, "Oh my God, this is why I turned my TV on."
I love that. I of course think back to the core four Memphis Grizzlies, and back at taking my kids when they were little to when they made the Western Conference Finals, and they lost to your Spurs.
Great team.
Were swept.
Great team. That's a great team.
Yeah, it was. No doubt about it. But 2013, that was really special for us. I'd love to get your take on the state of the Grizzlies right now, because as you mentioned off the top, we're kind of in a tough start here. We've lost 4 games in a row, and we have talent. There's no question about that. It's just right now, it feels raw and a little bit ugly, to be honest with you, Shay.
Yeah, what's interesting? So there are so many parallels that you can draw, so many connections between your Grizzlies and my Spurs, right? Not just the like playoff matchups that we had, or the time when y'all beat us and y'all were the 8th seed and we were the number 1 seed, which was a terrible time in my life. It's not just those things, but this thing that y'all are going through right now with John Morant, where it feels like your superstar has decided he doesn't want to be here anymore. I don't know that that's the case, but it seems from afar that that's what it feels like. And maybe the leadership on the team is starting to think maybe we don't want him here either. That's what it seems like from afar. I'm just guessing. But we had a very similar experience several years ago with who was then our best player, Kawhi Leonard. And so I don't have any answers for you. You're right. You do have a bunch of talent on the team, but when the team doesn't want to play together, there's sort of nothing you can do other than sit there and be sad about it. So all I have for you is just a shoulder for you to lean on, and we can commiserate together. There's no easy way out of this. Maybe what I could say is we went through that and now we have Wemby. Maybe you guys go through this and you get whoever that person is. I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't know.
Wembanyama is incredible. I mean, he's like a video game. My gosh. Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring up the 8th seed, 1 seed thing, but I'm glad you did, because that is certainly another great memory of Memphis Grizzlies folklore. Final things. There's a lot of people that are maybe a little bit concerned about the state of the NBA game right now. A lot of people think maybe refs have too much power. They can kind of dictate a game a certain way or that, or perhaps players, all they have to do is stop playing for one coach and that coach is fired. Where do you stand on the state of the NBA game today?
I actually think if you would have asked me this question maybe a couple of years ago, I would have been right there with you. I think today, the basketball that we have seen at the start of this season, up through and including last season, is better than it has been in years. Like, it's so exciting to turn on seemingly any sort of game. I have a League Pass subscription. I'm watching the like quadrants on my TV, like whatever. I think basketball now is better than it has been in a long time. I think if we just look at the storylines coming into this season, right? Well, you have, of course, the ascension of Wemby. You have the Milwaukee Bucks, who all of a sudden Giannis looked around and was like, hey, we could go to the finals again. Everybody is gone. Indiana's done. Boston is done. It's us in New York and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, we could, like, you have that going on. There's just like incredible rookie class. My Dylan Harper, who I'm very excited about here in San Antonio. He's out for a couple of weeks, but still, there. It seems like every single box that you want to check off, you have that now. There was a tiny amount of like nervousness as the LeBron, Steph, KD group started to age their way, sort of out of prominence. But this new class of players that we have that have stepped in, SGA, the Joker, Anthony Edwards, Wemby, like all of these new Luka, all of these this new class they seem like up to the task of carrying the NBA forward. I think basketball right now is really, really fun. But again, probably not if you live in Memphis right now.
Well, it can always change. The season's very young. So, Shea Serrano, I appreciate your time on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Congratulations on once again being a New York Times bestseller. Really appreciated you chopping it up with you on basketball, and good luck going forward. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Shout out Mike Conley, my favorite Grizzly.
Gentlemen, good morning. It's Andrew Douglas. How are you?
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing well, thanks. We got about 45 seconds until we come to you. Just wanted to make sure you could hear me. Everything sound okay?
Sounds great to us. Yep.
Okay, cool. We'll talk to you in a second, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Sweet. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. That's the holiday season right now. We're smack dab in the middle of it, and we always are concerned about families and if they have enough food to eat this holiday season. One local Memphis band is doing their part to make sure the Mid-South Food Bank has its shelves stocked for the holiday season. The Mid-South Food Bank, of course, serves 31 counties across our 3 Mid-South states. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I'm joined by a couple of members of Degenerate Breakfast. It is a University of Memphis band, and they are joining me right now. We're here with Bridger Whittier and Liam Wild on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Gentlemen, good morning to you. So tell me about this idea of what kind of benefit concert you guys are having in order to benefit the food bank. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? Yeah,
Doing well,
we're
thank
hosting we're hosting the event this Friday. It's going to be at the Haven House downtown. And the concept is you can just show up. There is no price for the ticket except for at least one non-perishable item. So that could be, canned meat, canned vegetables, canned soup, that kind of stuff. Or it could be, paper towels, toilet paper, diapers, toothpaste, all that good stuff. And all of the benefits will go to the Mid-South Food Bank. It's going to be an awesome night of music that the local fans of the scene can enjoy. It's going to be performances from us, Zoe Dominguez, the Narrows, and Sock Rocket. So it's just going to be an awesome night of music all around, and it's hopefully we can get some good donations.
Tell me about the idea. How did it come about?
Actually, our roommate Shondor, shout out to Shondor, his mom pitched the idea to me a few months ago in a long email. She's a big fan of the band, and she always has great ideas. And that one stuck for sure. We saw it. We were like, that's a great idea. And especially because of the reduction in SNAP benefits that's recently been happening, the Mid-South Food Bank, they expressed a need for more donations. So we're looking to raise over 1,000 donations for the food bank this Friday.
You guys are an alt-rock band. Are the other people playing this concert also in the same genre?
I would say so. I mean, for the most part, they definitely span, a little bit broader sense of alternative rock. But yes, I would say the Narrows are very much alternative grunge, and Zoe's like an alternative,
just folk. And she also does some punk.
Yeah.
They had a punk band in Nashville. But then Sock Rocket, he's all over the map.
A bit of a wild card there.
Does some folk, does some hip hop, does some. It's you just got to be there to see it. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and so all people have to do in order to go to the concert is bring in a non-perishable food item?
Yes. Yep. Just one food item, and then if you bring more than one, for every 2 items you bring past your original entry, you'll be entered into a merch giveaway. We're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff all night, just trying to make it a great night. But we're going to be doing some raffles for merch from all the artists who are performing. So it's going to be you have an incentive to bring more food, basically.
That sounds great. Tell us again about the venue. Where is it? And this is December 5th at 6 p.m., right?
Yes, 6 p.m. It's going to be at the Haven House, which is a DIY venue. It's very important for the local scene here. They have a lot of artists that get to play there and get to show off their talents. They used to have a location in Midtown. It was called the Warehouse back then, actually. But then, and originally they had it at a regular, house. But they've expanded into a full-on venue. It's right next to Ernestine and Hazel's downtown. It's 84 EGE Patterson Ave. But it's a great local venue. It's really important for the musicians here, and we're really excited to be doing it there.
Anything else you want to mention before we let you go? This sounds like a great night.
Man, I would just come out if you can, and if you can't, then just then see how you can get involved with the local music here, different time. And also, if you can't make the donation tonight, make some donations to the Mid-South Food Bank or any other food bank. Just just spread love to one another. Absolutely. And just there it is. Just there it is.
I understand. I understand. Better to give than receive, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Well, listen, Degenerate Breakfast, thanks for coming up on the Action News 5 digital desk. Great idea, and hopefully we can get a big crowd there to pack in the show and get lots of donations to the Mid-South Food Bank. Having a great time for a great cause. We appreciate you joining us on the digital desk. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
for having us.
You got it. All right. Another live look from our High Five cameras. We go to break on this chilly Monday. Man, 30 degrees, 9:05. Let's talk about your forecast in 1 minute. Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate it. Nice job.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Really appreciate you for having us.
Okay. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Right,
Bye.
thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. It is a cold one out there. You can see a live look from our High Five camera downtown, 30 degrees, 9:07. We'll be talking more about your forecast in just a little bit. But first, we want to get to some of the stories that we are following at this hour, and one of which has to deal with some of the cold and ways to escape the cold. We have Action News 5 Jared Thomas to explain.
If you've been outside this morning or in the past few days, you probably felt that cold air hit you. And let me tell you, this week won't be any better as we start looking for those warming centers as the cold air temperatures start to hit us. Now, one thing you want to do is crank up that heat and look for shelters to keep us warm. First Baptist Church, they're accepting all guests like families, couples, and single men and single women. Once you arrive, you will need to check in, and then a lunch and blanket will be given to you until supplies last. For homeowners or renters, MLGW says make sure your central heating air filters are replaced every 30 to 90 days. Caulk cracks around windows and doors. Keep curtains and blinds closed at night and on gloomy days. And when it's sunny outside, make sure you bring in that warmth air. First Baptist Church will be open until 10 a.m. today. If you do need services to provide a ride here for you, you can call MATA, where you can find more information on our website at actionnews5.com. Reporting in Midtown, Jared Thomas, Action News 5.
Okay, Jared Thomas reporting there for us. Two local college football coaches now have new homes after Lane Kiffin left Oxford and Ryan Silverfield left Memphis. Kiffin going to LSU and Silverfield going to Fayetteville to coach the Arkansas Razorbacks. Big news yesterday. So Silverfield took the Razorbacks job yesterday. Arkansas made the announcement. No terms of the contract have been reported yet. His 6 years at the Tigers' helm. He ends with a 50-25 record, including a pair of 10-win seasons in 2023 and 2024. The highlight of his tenure was a win over Iowa State in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in 2023. Memphis got off to a great start this year, considered to be the favorite in the college football playoff out of the group of five before losing the last three games and finishing with an 8-4 record. And on to Kiffin. A lot of drama with Lane Kiffin over the past several days, several weeks too. He made the decision to depart from Ole Miss and head to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In a post, he said he was hoping to finish the season as the Rebels head coach, but athletic director Keith Carter told him no. And this is a very unusual situation where you have a coach leaving the team that's bound for the playoffs to take a job with a conference rival. ESPN reporting that the deal with LSU is 7 years, about $12 million a year, making Lane Kiffin one of the highest paid coaches in college football. The Rebels defensive coordinator Pete Golding has been named the new permanent head coach. In other news this morning, and this one is about the former Ole Miss student charged with killing fellow student Jimmy J. Lee is back in court this week. Timothy Harrington Jr. being retried for capital murder 3 years after Jimmy J. Lee disappeared. The first trial ended in a mistrial, mainly because Lee's body hadn't been found. But earlier this year, human remains were found in Carroll County, Mississippi. They were confirmed as Lee's. Grand jury re-indicted Harrington with a new trial approaching. Lee's family and the Oxford community waiting for answers and justice. Action News 5 will be in the courtroom to bring you gavel-to-gavel coverage in the retrial of Timothy Harrington Jr. In other news, Memphis police need your help finding the person responsible for a hit and run that killed a child. MPD say around 10:30 Friday night, a boy was riding a scooter here, Poplar Avenue, Cochran Street, when he was hit by a car. Officers say the driver did not stay on the scene. They described the car as a four-door, dark-colored sedan with damages on the front. If you know anything, you are urged to call or text Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous and be eligible for a reward. That number is 901-528-CASH. Memphis police now say a cigarette ignited this fire at a Memphis sewer treatment plant north of downtown. The incident report says that a 55-year-old driver got lost, wound up getting stuck on top of a tarp covering a waste retention pond. MPD said he lit a cigarette, sparking a fire in his van because of the methane gas released by the waste. Officers on the scene say the driver admitted to having a couple of drinks. He was taken to Regional 1 with burns to his hands. The DUI team conducted some tests and determined he was not intoxicated and will not face charges. More charges coming to the SNAP benefits program as part of President Trump's budget bill. The legislation will change who is eligible for SNAP benefits by expanding work requirements. It's also shifting responsibility onto states. The cuts were supposed to go into effect November 1st. Because of the government shutdown, they were going into effect December 1st. Operation Jingle Bells. That is a part of the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. As a result, you're going to see increased law enforcement throughout the county. Deputies will be patrolling store parking lots to deter car break-ins and thefts. High focus areas include Wolf Chase, Highway 64, the unincorporated parts of Arlington and Lakeland. Operation Jingle Bells runs through December 26. Don't look now, but your Memphis Grizzlies have won 3 in a row and 5 out of the last 6. They had quite a statement win last night on the road against the Sacramento Kings. Once again, this was a second-half win for the Grizzlies. They went on a 4-2 run to start the fourth. They ended the quarter with 32 points in just 12 minutes, and big man Zach Edey seemed unstoppable. He had a career night. He finished with 32 points. He had 17 rebounds, led the charge here. The final score, 115-107 Grizzlies. Grizzlies are now 9-12 on the year. They remain on the road this week. They play the Spurs tomorrow night in San Antonio. After that, they'll be back at FedEx Forum Friday night against the Clippers. Both games tip off at 7 o'clock. Want to remind you about the Action News 5 Holiday Food Drive. You can scan the QR code for more details about donations or give directly. You can also round up the cost of your purchases. The next time you go through the Kroger checkout line, that money will go directly to the Mid-South Food Bank, which serves 31 counties across 3 Mid-South states. This Wednesday, you can also drop off donations in person at several Kroger locations. We're going to take a short break on the Action News 5 digital desk as you take a live look from our high five camera, 913, 30 degrees. We're back in 1 minute on Action News 5's digital desk.
Hey, welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis, and of course, if I'm here, then something crazy in the weather is going on, right? Of course, we've got a interesting scenario that's going to be playing out here over the next 24 hours as we get ready for our first brush of wintry weather here across the Mid-South. So let's talk about where we are right now. And of course, you're trying to work our way through the next couple of hours. It's still pretty chilly. As Andrew was just mentioning again, we're still in the low 30s here across the area. Really haven't warmed up all that much. I was just looking at some of the indications from our south and west. Actually, starting to see some reports of some sleet being mixed in around Hot Springs here this morning. So definitely something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, because obviously that's going to be part of the story here as we go through the coming hours here. Because guess what, my friends? Yes, winter all of a sudden has made its presence known here. So we're going to talk more about this over the next few hours. And obviously you see behind me, we've got clouds in place here this morning. The clouds will start to break up for more periods of sunshine, more clouds, and eventually the rain showers to come back into the fold here as we head through the coming hours. So this is going to be a situation that for the vast majority of the Action News 5 coverage area will be more so just a cold rain, but then we will also have some indications and some issues with some sleet mixing in with the rain showers here as we go through the course of the day. Now, I want to take you here. This is road temperatures right now. This will be a critical point in all of this as we head through the next 24 hours. These are actual surface road temperatures right now. Anything above 32 obviously is good, okay? And vast majority of the area has a road temperature above 32 degrees. That will bode well for any problems that could manifest themselves on the primary roads. Now, I say primary roads meaning, you know, driving down Union Avenue, driving down Highway 51, driving down I-40 or I-55. Those roads will tend to be fine, okay? It's the bridges and overpasses that we're going to be worried about, because those will tend to freeze first. But I did want to at least give you that, because this is going to be something that we're going to be watching closely during this time frame. Again, right now the road temperature here in Memphis is 35 degrees. The actual air temperature, if you extrapolate it this morning, in the low 30s. So actually the road temperature is a little bit better than the actual air temperature. In the mid 30s down towards the south from Clarksdale to Marks over to Batesville and Oxford. And right now road temperatures are a little bit more critical in places like Wynn and Forest City and Harrisburg. And the reason why that's critical is because back to the west, we're already beginning to see some of that moisture starting to manifest itself. And you see the areas of blue, that would be more so indicative of snow. The purple area there, that is a mix of freezing rain and sleet, and then freezing rain south of that along I-30 point southward, and then rain showers even further south of that. The purple area underneath all that, that's a winter weather advisory that does include parts of the Mid-South, but not the entire Mid-South. So I want everybody to understand, this is not an everybody situation. Not everybody will see winter weather out of this system. Could there be some sleet pellets that mix in a few spots? Yeah, it's a possibility. But I think if you live in North Mississippi and places like Corinth and Ripley and Walnut, Ashland, Snow Lake Shores, probably not going to get any snow in Snow Lake Shores, you're probably just going to see rain with a couple sleet pellets mixed in. The farther north that you go, maybe a slightly better opportunity that you could see some winter weather mixing in there. And already you can see it kind of putting together back to the west as we're getting the combination of two different systems coming into play here. An area of low pressure coming off of the lee side of the Rockies, and another one coming off of the Gulf. And that's pulling in not just Gulf moisture, but Pacific moisture as well. And typically, you know, this time of the year when you have Pacific moisture meeting up with some cold continental air coming in from Canada, that has a tendency to lead up to some wintry weather potential. But we're early enough in the season that there's still some barriers there and some guardrails. So while it is possible that we will have issues, they will be minor as a relative to what we've seen already this year. Think back to January when we had the big snowstorm. And then 2 weeks later, we had another snowstorm on top of that. So then, you know, we had two snowstorms within a couple of weeks of each other. This is not that, okay? I don't want you to go out and thinking to yourself, oh man, we're going to make some snow cream tonight, all right? We're not doing that tonight. Don't go running out to the grocery store. You don't need to go buy out the Kroger, okay? this is a minor impact for us here as we go through this time frame. So what to expect? Okay, mainly a cold rain, cold rain coming through here for the vast majority of the area. And I would even say for Memphis and Shelby County, same idea. Vast majority of it will be just old cold rain. The wintry mix potential mixes in with the rain shower, so it won't be necessarily full on a pure wintry mix. I think that rain's going to have a factor that mitigates any major issues from accumulation. So when it comes down to it, again, the areas out to the west, I'd say Poinsett County, Cross County, St. Francis County. These are the areas I'd highlight for this morning, late this morning into the early afternoon hours, and it shoots across the Mississippi River as we get closer to, say, sunset. There's going to be a window of time here, though, as we get into the early evening hours, that we may see a switch up where the cold rain does become a wintry mix, at least briefly, even here in Shelby County and around the city of Memphis. I don't think that that's going to be a long issue or a prolonged issue, maybe a couple of hours, but that could have some implications for ultimately how roads will react to the whole situation. So when it comes down to the impacts, relatively minor, okay? And when I say minor, I don't want you to think, oh, okay, I can go 70 miles an hour down the interstate like it's nobody's business, like it's a normal day. No, take a little extra time, take a little extra moment to get between point A and point B, because I do believe in the areas outlined in yellow here, the limited impact, the minor impact, slick spots will be possible, primarily on bridges and overpasses. And that will tend to be the issue as we head into that time frame. Bridges and overpasses always tend to be the one to end up being frozen first, to say the least. So that will be part of the story here as we go through the course of the day today into really tonight into tomorrow morning. I think tomorrow morning's commute could be a little bit more impactful just from that perspective alone. It's not going to be the most overwhelming thing, but still will have some bearing ultimately of what you need to do to get out the door tomorrow morning here across the Mid-South. So let's speak on that. When I say bridges are going to freeze first, here's a good graphic to suggest that. Remember, we're going to have temperatures, air temperatures, that will drop down into the 20s to near 30 degrees overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. The bridges, because they are open-faced, top and bottom, that cold air will be able to affix itself more so to whatever is on it. So that means that if there's some wet roads or there's some slick spots, this will be the area that we'll have to watch out for. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we're not able to completely dry out quickly. We're going to have rain, obviously. There may be slick spots where you didn't see a sleet pellet or snowflake across the Mid-South. So I think bridges, overpasses, you need to keep an eye out on that as the temperatures drop below freezing, especially by early tomorrow morning. That exposed cold air and above, that really causes the issues on the bridges and overpasses. Going back to what those road temperatures are right now, 35 degrees here at Memphis. That's above freezing. And hopefully we'll add a couple more degrees on top of that through the course of the day. But there will be some issues that we'll have to watch out for as we get into that morning commute for tomorrow. So let's break it all down with our first alert Futurecast now. And this is the latest Futurecast model. And you see some blue there. I want you to note that when I'm looking at the observations coming from the different reporting sites back over into Arkansas, Little Rock is not seeing anything just yet, okay? It's still to the west of Little Rock. It's out towards Hot Springs Village. It's out towards like Maumelle, moving out towards, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Benton, down towards, Texarkana, Arkadelphia, okay? It has not moved into our area just yet. So while you do see a little bit of blue here on the map, that does not mean that it's snowing 9:30 in the morning. There's going to be some snowflakes. We haven't even gotten anything here just yet or anywhere close to it. But I'm going to push this forward, and you'll notice as we get closer to lunchtime, that's when we start to see a little bit more in the way of moisture. It takes a while for this moisture to build up here. Understand that we build moisture from the top down in the atmosphere. So from the very, very top of the atmosphere to the very, very bottom, that's how it takes. That's why you're seeing a little sunshine here this morning, is because of the fact that we haven't built enough moisture up to get snowflakes to go, or sleet pellets to fall, or rain to even come down. and the clouds haven't built up just yet either. So all of that to say is that we got to wait a little bit of time here. So it's not immediate, but it's going to take some time. But once it does start to happen, you'll start to see the changes happen pretty rapidly. Once we start to get some rain that will likely cool down the atmosphere, what we call evaporative cooling, when that begins, when that process begins, that is when we will probably start to see the rain beginning to build in here. And as we get towards the afternoon hours, that's when the rain becomes more dominant. I think this is a good representation. Notice the vast majority is green, meaning rain. There's some pockets of yellow. That may be a few sleet pellets mixing in, okay? Farther to the north, you start getting up closer to Paragould, up towards Jonesboro, Hoxie, Walnut Grove, up in northeastern Arkansas. That's where you're going to see that wintry mix, I think, as we head towards late afternoon, early evening hours. But even with that being said, I think there will be some pockets of sleet mixing in Forest City to Wynn to Truman and Harrisburg this afternoon into the early evening hours. Push the story forward, take you to 7 o'clock this evening. You're sitting down at the house after a long day of work. You may hear a couple of sleet pellets pinging against your windows in places like Covington, Blytheville, Ripley, Henning, Gates, New Bern, as well as Dyersburg. Even here in the city, I'd say Millington, Brunswick, Bartlett, you might hear a couple of pings, Arlington, of some sleet mixing in there. And you see there's still some pink back out to the west. That will come swinging eastward. You see how there will be a couple of pockets where pink will mix in with green, meaning rain and sleet. Rain and sleet mixing in there. That, as temperatures come crashing down, will also be part of the story too, because as the temperatures come crashing down, there's not a lot of time here between the time that we in the rain to the point to where we'll be down into the 20s to near 30, and there's a lot of clouds, so there's not a lot of evaporation going on. And when you don't have enough evaporation and the temperatures come crashing down, we may have a quick freeze in a few spots where, again, bridges and overpasses will be the spots to watch out for initially. We may see a flurry or two tomorrow, but other than that, again, nothing to write home about. Hopefully get a little sunshine to come back in here by the time we head into the afternoon hours of your Tuesday and into the evening hours as well. I do want to give you a first alert to the next system coming down the pipeline. Once we get past this one, we'll be dry. You know, we've got our holiday food drive. Andrew was just talking about it here a couple of minutes ago, coming up, you know, kind of the culmination of it on Wednesday. Weather looks great. Chilly, but great. At least sunshine will be back. Thursday, we'll start adding in clouds. We'll add in some rain chances late in the day, more so Friday. Saturday, St. Jude Marathon going on. Of course, a lot of people are going to be in town this week for the St. Jude Marathon. I think we get the rain out of here in time for the St. Jude Marathon, but there will be at least some showers as we head through the afternoon and evening hours of Friday. Here's a look at it with our first alert futurecast. You'll see the showers kind of scooting up northward as we head into Friday morning. Not everybody's seeing the rainfall with that one either. It comes and goes, and then by the time we head towards Saturday mornings, you're getting ready to run the marathon, run the 10K, run the half or the 5K, whatever you've got planned out, or you're just going downtown to root somebody on. I think we're going to be in decent shape by that point in time. So there's a look at the extended forecast. Again, we're still highlighting today into tomorrow. So really tonight into tomorrow, the potential is there for a wintry mix. We'd say rain and sleet primarily. I think that there could be a few snowflakes that will mix in places like Blytheville and Osceola, up towards Kennett, Missouri. We're talking Steele and Holland and Caruthersville and Hayti. But for the vast majority of the Action News 5 coverage area, I think this is going to be just a cold rain. So that's why I said don't go out and buy all the stuff for snow cream just yet. We're not there yet. Okay, I'm certain at this point, you know, looking at where we are in the grand scheme of things, when it comes down to winter weather in the Mid-South, the setup is there. Maybe not in December for something substantial, but the setup may be there for this year. We have another, decent opportunity, but this ain't it. This isn't the one. So again, I'll tell you when it's the one where we're like, hey, by the way, you know, school's gonna be out, things like that. This is not it. Maybe a delay or two tomorrow morning. I wouldn't be surprised at that. But being out, no. Cold though. over the next couple of days. Notice temperatures in the 40s, 30s for overnight lows, 20s in some of the overnight periods. We might be able to eke out 50 by the end of next week. Let's hope that that's the case here as we head through the next few days, because it'd be nice to get a little bit warmer here by the time we head into the next few days. All right, well, I'm going to send it back over to Andrew Douglas after this break coming up here. Time right now, 9:30 here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. More than 38 million Americans will be diagnosed with diabetes. And here in Tennessee, that translates to more than 760,000 Tennesseans. This is one of those diseases that you have to constantly monitor and figure out ways to control it best. And if you can, try to eliminate those symptoms, especially for type 2 diabetes. Joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined right now by Dr. Anna Yang. She's a physician at Regional One Hospital to talk more, do kind of a deep dive on diabetes. Dr. Yang, where should we begin when it comes to this conversation of Memphis and the Mid-South and ways to watch for symptoms, control it, that sort of thing? Where do you want to begin this morning? Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. So diabetes is such an important topic and such a huge topic that we're definitely not going to be able to cover everything that I would like to say on this short little segment. But this is definitely a good starting point. So many people have diabetes, and a lot of people really don't know what to do with it, how to prevent it, and really don't understand kind of the downstream effects of it either, and what it can ultimately cause. Because a lot of times diabetes can be completely asymptomatic, as in you could feel a whole lot of nothing with having diabetes. So it's important to see a doctor to get screened. So as far as type 2 diabetes goes, this is more of a disease that starts in adulthood after years of potentially, eating wrong or having an inactive lifestyle, or, genetics definitely plays a role in it too. But with, childhood obesity going on, we're seeing kids with type 2 diabetes as well. Some of the symptoms that somebody with diabetes might notice early on when their blood sugar is pretty high before it's controlled can include, feeling thirsty all the time, having to go to the bathroom and urinate or pee a lot, maybe having some blurry vision, but sometimes people with diabetes have no symptoms at all because it requires a blood sugar high enough that you notice these symptoms, because the blood sugar has to be high enough that the body's trying to get rid of it through the pee, which is where you get some of these peeing a lot and, thirstiness symptoms. So even before you start to have symptoms, it is definitely important to go see your doctor for regular screening tests.
So you were mentioning this is type 2 diabetes, and that's something you can control, either prevent, right? I mean, type 1 is more genetic based. Am I accurate with that?
Yeah, so type 1 is somewhat genetic based, but also it's sometimes just random, even when there's no genetic predisposition necessarily. But type 1 diabetes is generally not something somebody can prevent. It's an autoimmune disease of the pancreas, so it's not something that someone can control. Although sometimes with very late stage diabetes, when it gets really severe, sometimes it even starts to act like a type 1 diabetes, because your body's insulin system and pancreas are just working so poorly at that point, that it's not just insulin resistance, but you're also not producing much insulin anymore. So there's a little bit of overlap, where type 1 diabetes at later stages can act kind of physiologically like a type 1 diabetic. But yes, type 2 diabetes is the main thing that we're talking about, is the main thing that's potentially preventable, and that we can really work on as a population.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about ways to prevent developing type 2 diabetes, because I know a lot of it begins with just your lifestyle, your diet, what you're doing, that sort of thing, right?
Yes, I mean, prevention is all about your lifestyle. It's all about, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, being careful of what you're eating, making sure, you're eating a good, healthy diet that's, low in, simple carbohydrates and sugars, and making sure you're staying active and exercising on a regular basis.
Are there any tests, Anna, that we could take to see if we're prone to diabetes, or we're headed that way, or preventing it?
Yeah, so you're just, getting a random glucometer over the counter can help, but it's definitely not completely accurate for diagnosing diabetes or even pre-diabetes. So that's why it's definitely important to go to your doctor and see them. They can, give you a better idea of when, based on your risk factors and your age, when you need to start really screening for diabetes. In general, there are 2 tests for your average adult that we use, which is the fasting glucose, which is just your blood sugar check after you haven't eaten for about 8 hours or so, and then the hemoglobin A1C study, which kind of gives us more of an idea of what your blood sugars are doing over about a 3-month period. For pregnant people, for gestational diabetes screening, which is diabetes you get because of pregnancy potentially, there's a different type of test called the glucose tolerance test, where you're drinking a sugary drink and then they're checking your blood sugar after that.
Let me ask you about the holidays. We're entering a holiday season where there's going to be a lot of eating and sweets and cocktails and that sort of thing. What are your best practices to just kind of stay on the straight and narrow with all this great food that's very rich and a lot of times full of sugar and that sort of thing?
Yeah, diabetes is really tough this time of year. So it's a great time to talk about this in between the Halloween candy and the Thanksgiving dinner and the Christmas cookies. It's a tough time to have diabetes, but it is really important to stay on top of it. Now, that doesn't mean giving up every single sweet. That doesn't mean, not being able to take part in, these festivities and food, because, with our culture, food is such a big part of enjoying the holidays and being with family and friends. So definitely, don't completely deprive yourself of everything and be miserable, but just be careful what you're doing. Definitely, watch what you're eating in moderation. If you are going to have some sweets and desserts, just take really limited portions. Make sure you're monitoring your blood sugar still, make sure you're taking your medication still. And if you're attending these, festivities, maybe think about bringing some, different food. If you know that the only food that they're going to have there is, things that are not good for your diabetes, then, bring your own snacks, that you can have, so that you can still be eating with the group, but not necessarily, completely ignoring your diabetes and, hurting your body in the process.
Fantastic. Okay, final thoughts before we let you go, Anna, about anything else we haven't touched on with regards to diabetes control, symptoms, ways to prevent it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it sounds kind of ominous, but just remember that even if you don't feel anything, if you have diabetes and you let your blood sugars go, even if you feel okay in that moment, that high blood sugar inside of you is causing damage to your nerves, your blood vessels, your immune system. It can, make it more difficult for you to fight off infections. It can cause major vision problems, even blindness later on. It is definitely a risk factor for, heart attacks and strokes and, major diseases like that. And also kidney failure and losing your limbs because of poor blood flow, to your legs. So these are all really important things to keep in mind through this holiday season. It may not seem important because you don't feel bad when your blood sugars are, somewhat high, but it is still causing problems inside of you. So it is really important that even through all of, the good food and, everything out there, the sweets and everything, that you still remember this and still treat it seriously.
All right, Dr. Anna Yang joining us on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We appreciate the info as always, Anna. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Monday. I want to give you a first alert to some big changes on the way as we head through the latter portion of your Monday. We'll start off with the clouds thickening, eventually rain showers to move in here. Temperatures will be in the 30s all day long. A chilly north wind coming in here. And notice it's mostly rain, but there could be a wintry mix mixing in there as well at times as we kind of go back and forth here. That's going to be the big impact here today. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not going to be the best. It's going to be one of those situations where parts of the Mid-South will have impacts. Other parts will just deal with the cold rain. That's it, the long and short of it. But there will be parts of the area, mainly north and west of Memphis, where we can have some limited impacts from slick bridges and overpasses, things of the sort here. The vast majority of places like Selmer and Corinth down to Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, as well as Holly Springs, Batesville, and Marks, Mississippi, just a cold rain. There might be a couple sleet pellets that mix in, but mainly just a cold rain. Wintry mix possible across portions of eastern Arkansas into northwest Tennessee, and does kind of bisect through the metro area. I would say, again, it's going to be kind of one of these situations where we kind of battle back and forth in a smaller corridor right in through here where you have the transition zone. There might be kind of a back and forth where you get a wintry mix, then you have rain, back to a wintry mix just because of temperature profiles. But the farther north that you go, places like Forest City, Wynn, up towards Truman, Blytheville, Dyersburg, Ripley, Tennessee, Alamo, maybe Covington over towards Brownsville. That area in through here, this is where we could see a wintry mix that may be a little bit more off and on through the afternoon and evening hours. That leads up to a limited impact across the area. This is not going to be something that's going to be a whole bunch of issues here with little to no accumulation. I say little to no. Don't expect any major snow accumulations. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but there could be some sleet that piles up. There could be a couple slick spots on bridges, overpasses, some secondary roadways. But overall, this is a limited impact. So let's time it out now with our first alert futurecast. A couple things to note here to the south and west. You're going to start to see this pink developing here across places like Little Rock, down towards Benton, Texarkana, as well as Arkadelphia, Pine Bluff. That's going to lift off to the north and east. Notice a vast majority of the Action News 5 coverage area is just rain. These pockets of yellow here could have some sleet mixing in. You notice here, though, there is a corridor where we will have back and forth between rain and a mix, a wintry mix of sleet and rain as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours, and maybe some snowflakes mixing in closer to the Missouri and Arkansas border, the Tennessee and Kentucky border. That will come and go. There's a little bit of a lull, but there's another front that will come swinging through here. That will come swinging through overnight. That will pick up another chance for rain and maybe a mixture before everything exits off to the east as we get into the early hours of your Tuesday. There may be a couple of banks of fog. That'll be something else that we'll have to watch out for. Maybe some freezing fog early tomorrow, giving way to some sunshine through the afternoon hours with temperatures that will be stuck in the 30s all day long. So this is not going to be a long-term issue. It's though going to be a issue for some parts of the area where we do have some issues of slick roadways, bridges, overpasses. I'm thinking the I-155 bridge between Pemiscot County and Dyer County. I'm thinking the I-55, I-40 bridges. I don't think it's going to be overwhelmingly an issue, but still a problem that we'll have to keep an eye on. I want to fast forward now. We'll have a couple of dry days here, get towards your Tuesday with drying out with some sunshine on the backside of the day. Wednesday looks to be dry as well with mostly sunny skies, upper 40s that day. We'll be in the lower 40s as we head through your Thursday. Clouds increasing, rain chances to also follow suit. We'll start to see some rain opportunities as we head through the end of the day on Thursday into early Friday. That system will pull away from us, and then drying out as we head towards your Saturday. Should be in decent shape for the St. Jude Marathon coming up. I'm going to keep a mention of a stray shower. There have been some indications of a quick moving system that could kick off a quick shower or two in the morning hours in North Mississippi. Another system that would come through here overnight Saturday into early Sunday that could also kick up a quick shower or two. But a reminder to everybody, this is not an everybody issue for this brush with wintry weather that comes in here late Monday into early Tuesday. The impacts of Tuesday will be just what is left over. Again, if we have some issues of freezing fog, if we have some issues of slick bridges, overpasses, that will be a Tuesday issue more so than anything else. But there could still be some impacts in a few spots this evening into tonight. So take it easy on the roadways. Add some time to get between point A and point B. Go ahead and build in a couple of extra minutes for your Tuesday morning commute. At least we get some sunshine on the backside of the day. 38 the high temperature, 48 on Wednesday. Not bad for our holiday food drive at the local Kroger's across the Mid-South. We'll be out there all day long. At least the weather will hold out for it. We go into your Thursday, more clouds, a chance for a shower late in the day. Better chances overnight Thursday and early Friday. Not bad for the St. Jude Marathon with a high of 48 that day. We'll keep it 48 on Sunday and Monday, back to the low and hopefully some mid-50s coming back into the fold by the mid-portion next week. That will be a little closer to average comparatively to the well below average temperatures you'll experience for the next 9 to 10 days.
Check up on them. Joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk, I'm going to talk more about this topic with a couple of people. I have Jacob Narowski. He's an Army veteran. He's a warrior there. I also am joined by Lindsay Tekat. She's a mental and brain health services director for the Wounded Warrior Project. Thank you for both of you joining us here on the digital desk. Jacob, I want to begin with you. Tell us about your mental journey. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, my mental journey really is, it's long. It's years. It's over 14 years spent hanging out the side of a Black Hawk helicopter in austere places all over the world, and seeing and experiencing things that most of us never even dream of. And then coming home, and you come home and those experiences become memories, become stories that come home with you. And so trying to find my place in the world here as a dad, as a husband, as a community member is difficult when you're still kind of holding on to or carrying those memories that come with you. And so it's been so important for me on this journey that people have found me, friends that have kind of carried me through those moments and given me the opportunity to carry them and just to begin to build a life of connection over this journey.
Well, first off, I appreciate everything that you and your family have done for this country, what you've sacrificed, because there's so many veterans that sacrifice so much to defend what this country stands for overseas. How important was human connection to your overall recovery, Jacob?
Human connection for me, and like for so many other veterans, is absolutely vital. There has to be somebody that tells you when the demons are lying, as I sometimes say. You have to have people around you that can remind you of your worth, remind you that you're important, that you still have a mission, that there's still more for you to do. And so for me, having those brothers and sisters nearby and having those check-ins has just been absolutely vital. And then learning that I can be the one checking on them as well.
Lindsay, I want to thank you, Jacob. Lindsay, I want to talk with you. And listen, Wounded Warrior Project, it is such an amazing organization. And thank you for all that you do for all the veterans out there. You work specifically in the mental and brain health services. Tell me, when it comes to the biggest challenges that veterans face, what are some of those big challenges out there?
Yeah, great question. So if you take when somebody's transitioning back into civilian life and you look at some of those challenges, you have a situation where somebody was in a very structured environment. They had a support system built in of folks that were like-minded, that they can relate to and are doing the same things. And they had a clear sense of mission and purpose. And then that disappears. They then start to transition out. They lose that sense of purpose. They lose that sense of mission while they're trying to navigate, where are my benefits? What is my family dynamics, my financial situation? What's going to be my next job? And that can be a very overwhelming time for a veteran. And they may also be experiencing, symptoms of PTSD on top of that. And so having connection during that time is going to be so critical. Having that support system of like-minded individuals that might be going through it with you or that have already went through it and can help shepherd, or as Jake said, be the one carrying you. You mentioned our survey. Our survey showed that for wounded warriors who had listed isolation or that lack of connection as a symptom that they were experiencing, they were 3 times more likely to have had suicidal thoughts in the past 12 months. So connection is key.
No question about it. Jake, I really appreciate you opening up, telling your story to help others. Lindsay, quickly, where can, if perhaps one of our viewers has a family member who's struggling right now, where can they go for help?
I think it's great that you mentioned family member, right? You do not have to be a mental health expert to help somebody who's struggling or to help yourself if you're struggling. I'd recommend going to woundedwarriorproject.org. We're there to support. We stand by ready to connect you to programs, connect you to services, and help build that foundation of connection.
All right, Jacob and Lindsay, we appreciate your time here on the Digital Desk. God bless you both, and thank you for your time. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Shannon Miller is one of the most decorated gymnasts in Olympic history, a 7-time gold gold medalist for the Olympics, and so many people remember her competing on that international stage. She inspired so many young athletes of a new generation, but at age 33, she had a new challenge. In fact, probably her toughest routine yet, and that was battling ovarian cancer. Joining me on the Action News 5 digital desk, I have the pleasure to bring in Shannon Miller and also Dr. David O'Malley. He is a gynecologic oncologist with Ohio State University's Comprehensive Cancer Center, joining us on the digital desk. And Shannon, let me start with you. I appreciate you coming on to talk about a very personal battle with ovarian cancer. So many people remember you as shining brightly on the international stage. Take us through the cancer diagnosis and the kind of strength and resiliency you needed in order to combat and overcome the cancer. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on. The Olympic journey has been amazing, but I would say the cancer fight has been the toughest thing I've ever had to do. I was diagnosed in early 2011 when I woke up from surgery to find out that I had a rare form of ovarian cancer, then went through chemotherapy, and really became an advocate for others in the cancer community, knowing that I didn't necessarily know what questions to ask. I completely missed the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer. And so I wanted to be able to use my voice to help others. And you talk about strength, and I think talking with survivors, we realize that you never know how strong you can be until you just have to. It's that inner strength that helps you take that next forward step.
Tell me about that. So, you overcome ovarian cancer. What do you want women to know about their own health? Because based upon everything I've seen, all the research suggests the earlier you can find cancer, if it's in fact there, it's diagnosed, the better it is.
Absolutely. Early detection saves lives, leads to better outcomes. And what I want women to know is that there is no routine test for ovarian cancer. We have to listen to our bodies and speak up when something doesn't feel right, advocate for ourselves. It's one of the reasons why we're here in partnership with AbbVie to encourage women with ovarian cancer to ask about all of the tools in the tool chest, including biomarker testing, which is so important to unlocking this personalized care for specific types of ovarian cancer. And it's just important to know the information so that you can go in and ask those questions.
Thank you, Shannon. Dr. O'Malley, over to you. I want to talk to you about biomarker testing. I understand it's so important for patients with ovarian cancer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's lots of different biomarkers. There's the gene biomarkers, and that's in all of our cells. That's in all of our tissue. We have to test those. But now what we also test is the tissue, is the cancer, those cells, looking for markers on those cells. And by identifying those unique biomarkers, we're able to then target or personalize the therapy for patients with cancer, specifically ovarian cancer in this instance.
Now, I understand that ovarian cancer is one of the deadliest forms of gynecologic cancer. Tell me specifically on how women are able to get biomarker testing.
I think, unfortunately, you really nailed it in that we have the deadliest GYN cancer. And unfortunately, most patients are diagnosed with advanced stages. And even though we're doing a much better job of curing people, still 70% of patients recur. So what's the best way? Talk to your healthcare provider. Talk to the whole healthcare team. There are now ways that we can send your tissue out, and as well as your blood or saliva, to get tested. So they can send it out. Many of our centers are actually doing these tests in-house now. So if you have ovarian cancer or a family member has ovarian cancer, make sure you're asking your healthcare provider, have I had these biomarkers? And if not, I want to get them done.
David, thank you. Shannon, final question to you. What message do you have for women perhaps going through a diagnosis like ovarian cancer or any other type of cancer or, struggle, a significant struggle, a challenge? What kind of message do you have there for them, Shannon?
Well, thank you. It's such a great question. I want anyone going through a challenge, whether it's a cancer diagnosis or anything else, know that you do not need to go through this fight alone. There's always a team and a community there ready to support you. So find that team, ask questions, and know that there is strength in seeking that support. And then if you are an ovarian cancer survivor and you want more information about biomarker testing, you can visit biomarkerboost.com.
Okay, Shannon Miller, David O'Malley, we really appreciate you joining us on the Digital Desk. Shannon, thanks for opening up to help others out there, perhaps going through their own struggles, their own challenges on this journey. And David, great information as well. We appreciate you both coming on the Digital Desk. Thank you. Dave, good morning. It's Andrew Douglas. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you taking a few minutes. We're about 45 seconds away from you. Just wanted to say hello and tell you thanks again.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, man. Glad to help you guys.
Appreciate it. Okay, talk to you in a sec. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are expecting some winter weather in parts of the Mid-South, one of which is the state of Arkansas. I got Dave Parker joining me on the Action News 5 Digital Desk to talk about what they're doing as part of the Department of Transportation in the state of Arkansas, what they're doing to condition the roadways out there. So, Dave, tell us where you are and some of the things that your crews are going to be doing to try to make it as safe as possible for drivers out there. Good morning.
Good morning to you. I'm currently in Little Rock. What we're doing is we've been pre-treating since early morning, statewide, really mostly rock salt. We're watching that temperature. We're right around 31, 32 degrees. We're hoping this big band of precipitation that just came through the Little Rock area and is headed east to West Memphis over onto Memphis. We hope that the temperature doesn't drop before that rain moves through, because if it does, of course, we could see some freezing rain turning into snow. So not the best forecast to start out December with. We would much rather be talking about a couple of inches of snow than the potential for freezing rain.
I agree with you 100%. So, I guess it really depends where you are in the state of Arkansas based upon what kind of wintry mix you could be getting. What do you see in the eastern part of the state, Dave?
Well, we're seeing that the precipitation hasn't reached that area yet. On over Interstate 40, we're following Brinkley, Carlisle, Wynn, Wilson, West Memphis area. We're not seeing the precipitation yet, but it's coming your way. We're hoping the temperature doesn't drop before it gets there and the precipitation passes, and then the temperature drops. It's really a fine line between 30 to 32 degrees can make a huge difference. But we've been pre-treating the bridges and overpasses. We're hitting the interstates and highways a little bit. We'll have crews in West Memphis area, eastern Arkansas, all through the afternoon into early evening, because we don't expect this to end until 9, 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, I would think it would be kind of tough in the evening hours if this were to switch over from, liquid to solid, and then you're in a really tough bind, especially on those main thoroughfares. What are you guys watching in particular? I-40, I-55, those kind of things?
Yeah, it's the usual interstates and highways. 40-55 split there in West Memphis is critical to us, not just from a traveler safety standpoint, but commercial-wise. We all know the importance of the Mid-South and trucking and commercial. We've got to keep that area open, running, safe, passable. It's a very important area for everyone. So we're keeping an eye on 40-55 and on up to 555 up to the Jonesboro area as well.
Anything else you want to mention for some of the drivers that may be in the Arkansas area for the next, I don't know, 24 hours or so?
It's my old saying, but don't let your guard down. This is the first winter weather of this season. I know it's late 25, but if you're a driver out there and you think, well, it's just cold rain, that cold rain could change quickly over to freezing rain. So if you're traveling this afternoon, early evening, visibility will drop, of course, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Please be careful out there. Take it easy and slow. And check out your local forecast. Some great meteorologists in this area. Check out what they're saying and be smart.
Okay, Dave Parker with the Arkansas Department of Transportation joining us on the Action News 5 digital desk. Appreciate the info, Dave. Drive safely out there, and we appreciate all the help. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, another live look from our High Five cameras. We go to break on this chilly Monday, December 1st, 30 degrees, 10:05. We're back in 1 minute on Action News 5's digital desk. Dave, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, Andrew. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. We love chopping it up with our neighbors all around Memphis and the Mid-South. I'm joined now on the Action News 5 digital desk by the mayor of Collierville, Maureen Frazier, joining us to talk about the holiday season and news and notes this time of year. So, Maureen, I know it's a busy time for so many families out there. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing very well. It's certainly a busy time, but there's a lot of things that are happening everywhere, including the town of Collierville. So I'm anxious to hear what you got going on.
Well, we officially kicked off Christmas in Collierville with the tree lighting, and there are so many events that are happening. Our Christmas parade is coming up. We have Christmas in Collierville every Saturday on the town square. Some new events coming up. So I wanted to encourage you and everyone to look at our website, colliervilletn.gov/Christmas, and all the dates and activities and events will be noted there. It is a beautiful time on the town square, and I encourage everyone to come out.
You know, I noticed that Collierville over the last several years has really just kind of bought into this idea like, hey, you can spend time with us and really feel the holiday spirit. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because, I mean, restaurants, neighborhoods, the square, just about everything, right?
Yes, it really makes Collierville what Collierville is. The whole community is involved, and we all want to celebrate the holidays. And I'll tell you, it makes everyone so happy this time of year. I know for some people it can be stressful, and it is stressful. But if people want to enjoy their neighbors, their neighborhoods, I mean, you can get your house on the home tour, so people can come and drive by and see the hard work and your decorations in your yard. There's hundreds of participants that participate in that. And you see a lot of activity on social media, like where should we go look at Christmas lights from all over the Mid-South. And we really want Collierville to be the destination, to be known as the place to go during the holiday season. And we welcome that, we embrace that. And we love seeing people come and experience Collierville for the first time or the 100th time.
Fantastic. So tell me about the Keep America Beautiful pledge with Collierville.
Yes, we worked with the Keep Tennessee Beautiful and Tennessee Department of Transportation, and to kick off the America 250 birthday celebration for this next year on July 4th, we did Leaders Against Litter, and we went out and picked up litter for about an hour and a half, signed a pledge that we as the elected body and our Town Beautiful Commission are committed to helping keep our community clean, green, and as shiny as we possibly can make it. So if we can set the example, we're hoping all the residents and everyone that comes through Collierville will embrace that and also work hard to keep Collierville clean and keep America clean.
Something that is somewhat related, I guess you can say, is some new sanitation equipment. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we purchased a software package. It's called Routeware. And what it does is kind of intriguing. It's sort of like your GPS, but it's for our drivers that pick up our trash and recycling to make their routes more efficient. But it's also where you can see where they are. So if for some reason we may have a new driver that's being trained, every once in a while he may miss a house or miss a cove because he may not be familiar with the route. And so this software basically it designs the routes for the drivers to make it the most efficient, but it also, as soon as it picks up that trash, it changes the color so we know that no one has been missed. And it can put the routes much more efficient. So it's using technology to help the town become more efficient, ultimately save money so we can provide more services for the residents.
Anything else you want to mention this morning, Maureen, as we head into and ramp up the holiday season?
Yes, it is a busy time of year, but what I would like to say, I know we talked previously about our comprehensive plan, and this is what what the residents want Collierville to look like in 2050. We will be having our first community-wide community engagement event coming up on Monday, December the 15th at 6:30, and that will be at the Linda Curley Center. And we want to encourage as many people as possible to come, because it's not what I want or the elected body wants, it's what the residents want Collierville to be. So we would really value their input and participation. So that is one thing I would like to encourage everyone who lives in Collierville to please come out and provide your input, whether it's good, bad, constructive criticism, things that we can do better. But again, what do we want Collierville to be in 2050?
Yeah, 25 years from now. Okay, this first community meeting, December 15th, 6:30 at the Linda Curley Center. Where can we get information on this and some of the other things that you mentioned?
Yes, we have all the information on our website. It's also on Facebook, Twitter, and Nextdoor. But I would encourage you, if you don't sign up for our newsletters and our information, I know we had a newsletter come out this week, and it's full of information. So they can reach out to myself or to our public information office, or go to the website, colliervilletn.gov, and there's a lot of links that you can sign up for.
Perfect. Maureen Frazier, Mayor of Collierville. We appreciate your time as always on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Good morning. Welcome to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. You know, there is so much to be said about dietary supplements. We know it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Some are regulated, many are not. On the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined right now by Rick Bloomer. He is the Dean of the College of Health Sciences at the University of Memphis. He is also director of the Center for Nutraceutical and Dietary Supplement Research. Very interested in some of the research, Rick, that you have discovered in this, because so many people take supplements, so many look at supplements as perhaps a fountain of youth. What has your research discovered? Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Thanks again for having me. Good to see you again. So you're right. You started the session by mentioning the prevalence. And just last year, 2024, we saw the dollar amount exceed $250 billion worldwide in dietary supplement use. In the States here, we see individuals age 20 and older, a use rate of about 60%. That actually increases to 80% in individuals that are 60 years or older, more so in women than in men. And generally, we see the highest use rate amongst the multivitamin, multimineral, vitamin D3, and fish oil. And then we get into a whole host of other things, from amino acids to protein powders and energy drinks and shots and things of that nature. So they are extremely popular amongst individuals here in the States, in particular adults, but also in children.
Yes, and I know that there are so many people that like taking a multivitamin, and as you get older, certainly people can feel the effects, or at least they think they feel better and maybe have more energy, a boost of vitality. Some are regulated, some are not. Tell me what your research has found on this issue.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. So I want to clear this up. The FDA and FTC do have regulatory oversight over dietary supplements. Most individuals, when I ask them that question, they say there's no oversight. That's actually incorrect. There is oversight. Back in 1994, there was a law passed called DSHEA, the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, which essentially allowed companies to manufacture and sell products, those that we just mentioned, and as well as others, but it also gave the FDA oversight to regulate these products. Now, the issue is the regulation is post-market regulation. So once a product is in the marketplace, then the FDA and FTC have regulatory oversight. Unlike pharmaceuticals, which they have to undergo very strenuous phase 1, 2, 3 and clinical trials for safety and efficacy before they can enter the marketplace. So that's really the difference between the supplements and the pharmaceuticals.
Which supplements are the ones that are regulated? Are all of them? Are there some? Like, for example, if I take a multivitamin and maybe, a vitamin D3, K2, are those regulated?
All dietary supplements are regulated, and the FDA and FTC have authority to regulate. Now, what has really helped us over the past several years is something called CGMP, or Current Good Manufacturing Practices. What that essentially tells us is that supplements have to be manufactured in a facility that is CGMP compliant. And what that means is when products and ingredients are coming in, raw materials, they really should be tested and verified for efficacy, and they also should make certain that the label claim matches what is actually in the product. Some companies do a better job at that than others, but the reality is we're in a much better position today than we were 20 years ago in terms of knowing that a product's actually being produced not in someone's kitchen, but actually in a CGMP facility. So that does help, and I think a lot of individuals feel a little bit more comfort with that. Now, having said that, there are some cases where individuals will present to the ER with cases following dietary supplement use. Generally speaking, Andrew, those are specific to things that are stimulant heavy. So your weight loss products, your energy products, your pre-workouts, things of that nature. Sometimes individuals will present with heart palpitations, irregularity in rhythm, elevated rate, elevated blood pressure, things of that sort. And then you also see cases where individuals sometimes have products that are out. Kids get into those and they overdose on certain multivitamin minerals. And then sometimes you see individuals that frankly have issues with swallowing some of the larger tablets and capsules, so they present to the ER as well. So there are some cases where individuals do have some safety-related issues following the use of dietary supplements.
I was always told, Rick, that if you want to get a supplement, the best
ones you should get are ones that are independently verified by a third party made in the United States. Is that a good rule of thumb? What do you think?
I think it is. There are a few different organizations. One is called USP, or United States Pharmacopoeia, and you'll see a little USP symbol on a particular bottle or label if a company has actually gone through that. And what that is, it's almost like an independent auditing process where I, as a company, ask the organization to come in and do a thorough evaluation of my product, my production, my label claims, et cetera. And from there, if I pass, I'm essentially given that stamp to place on my product. USP is one, another is Informed Choice, another is NSF Certified for Sport. And those are important for athletes in particular, because if an athlete uses a product and then they get tested and they test positive for a banned substance, they could be losing a scholarship, they can be losing a contract. So that's something of real concern. So I think it does make sense to work with a reputable company that has gone that extra step to actually get certified through one of those outside third-party independent organizations.
Are there any supplements that you consider staples for adults out there that they should be taking every day?
I think first and foremost, people need to focus on whole food nutrition. Whole food nutrition, physical activity, regular structured exercise, inclusive of both resistance and cardiovascular, regular quality nightly sleep, 7+ hours or so per night, stress reduction. Frankly, those things are going to account for probably 95+% of someone's physical success. But beyond that, I do think there are some things that make really good sense. A good quality multivitamin, multimineral, vitamin D3, I think you mentioned both of those up front. And then fish oil. Those are things that I take and have taken regularly. I think most people could benefit from those. The evidence is quite clear on that. And really, you're only talking about probably 50 to 60 cents a day. So I think that's a very good and relatively inexpensive insurance policy for most individuals.
Anything else you want to mention before we let you go, Rick? I always enjoy our conversations, no matter the topic.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, Andrew, we can probably spend an entire hour talking through topics related to dietary supplementation, but I think the bottom line is the lifestyle approach has to be there first and foremost. We cannot supplement a pill or a capsule to make up for our lack of those other things that I mentioned previously. And then we also need to understand that there are many dietary supplements, frankly, that probably would not be worth our time and effort and money, but there are many others that actually do have strong efficacy, and it really depends on the individual and what they're looking to obtain. Just as an example, creatine monohydrate for many people can be very useful. Lutein zeaxanthin for someone with issues with eye health and macular degeneration. Caffeine coupled with L-theanine for cognitive performance at a low dose. Multiple clinical evaluations showing efficacy of those combinations or individual ingredients. So there are definitely things that people need to pay attention to. I always encourage people to go to PubMed, the medical database, do some searching, do their homework, and make certain that we're not relying on, so-called influencers to provide information, but they're doing their own homework and finding information out that they can trust.
All right, Rick Bloomer, the University of Memphis Dean, College of Health and Sciences, on the Action News 5 digital desk. Thanks so very much. Valuable information for the thousands of people who watch the digital desk each and every morning, Rick. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk here on a Monday. I want to give you a first alert to some big changes on the way as we head through the latter portion of your Monday. We'll start off with the clouds thickening, eventually rain showers to move in here. Temperatures will be in the 30s all day long. A chilly north wind coming in here. And notice it's mostly rain, but there could be a wintry mix mixing in there as well at times as we kind of go back and forth here. That's going to be the big impact here today. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not going to be the best. It's going to be one of those situations where parts of the Mid-South will have impacts. Other parts will just deal with the cold rain. That's it, the long and short of it. But there will be parts of the area, mainly north and west of Memphis, where we can have some limited impacts from slick bridges and overpasses, things of the sort here. The vast majority of places like Selmer and Corinth down to Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, as well as Holly Springs, Batesville, and Marks, Mississippi, just a cold rain. There might be a couple sleet pellets that mix in, but mainly just a cold rain. Wintry mix possible across portions of eastern Arkansas into northwest Tennessee, and does kind of bisect through the metro area. I would say, again, it's going to be kind of one of these situations where we kind of battle back and forth in a smaller corridor right in through here where you have the transition zone. There might be kind of a back and forth where you get a wintry mix, then you have rain, back to a wintry mix just because of temperature profiles. But the farther north that you go, places like Forest City, Wynn, up towards Truman, Blytheville, Dyersburg, Ripley, Tennessee, Alamo, maybe Covington over towards Brownsville. That area in through here, this is where we could see a wintry mix that may be a little bit more off and on through the afternoon and evening hours. That leads up to a limited impact across the area. This is not going to be something that's going to be a whole bunch of issues here with little to no accumulation. I say little to no. Don't expect any major snow accumulations. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but there could be some sleet that piles up. There could be a couple slick spots on bridges, overpasses, some secondary roadways. But overall, this is a limited impact. So let's time it out now with our first alert futurecast. A couple things to note here to the south and west. You're going to start to see this pink developing here across places like Little Rock, down towards Benton, Texarkana, as well as Arkadelphia, Pine Bluff. That's going to lift off to the north and east. Notice a vast majority of the Action News 5 coverage area is just rain. These pockets of yellow here could have some sleet mixing in. You notice here, though, there is a corridor where we will have back and forth between rain and a mix, a wintry mix of sleet and rain as we head through the late afternoon, early evening hours, and maybe some snowflakes mixing in closer to the Missouri and Arkansas border, the Tennessee and Kentucky border. That will come and go. There's a little bit of a lull, but there's another front that will come swinging through here. That will come swinging through overnight. That will pick up another chance for rain and maybe a mixture before everything exits off to the east as we get into the early hours of your Tuesday. There may be a couple of banks of fog. That'll be something else that we'll have to watch out for. Maybe some freezing fog early tomorrow, giving way to some sunshine through the afternoon hours with temperatures that will be stuck in the 30s all day long. So this is not going to be a long-term issue. It's though going to be a issue for some parts of the area where we do have some issues of slick roadways, bridges, overpasses. I'm thinking the I-155 bridge between Pemiscot County and Dyer County. I'm thinking the I-55, I-40 bridges. I don't think it's going to be overwhelmingly an issue, but still a problem that we'll have to keep an eye on. I want to fast forward now. We'll have a couple of dry days here, get towards your Tuesday with drying out with some sunshine on the backside of the day. Wednesday looks to be dry as well with mostly sunny skies. Upper 40s that day. We'll be in the lower 40s as we head through your Thursday. Clouds increasing, rain chances to also follow suit. We'll start to see some rain opportunities as we head through the end of the day on Thursday into early Friday. That system will pull away from us, and then drying out as we head towards your Saturday. Should be in decent shape for the St. Jude Marathon coming up. I'm going to keep a mention of a stray shower. There have been some indications of a quick moving system that could kick off a quick shower or two in the morning hours in North Mississippi. Another system that would come through here overnight Saturday into early Sunday that could also kick up a quick shower or two. But a reminder to everybody, this is not an everybody issue for this brush with wintry weather that comes in here late Monday into early Tuesday. The impacts of Tuesday will be just what is left over. Again, if we have some issues of freezing fog, if we have some issues of slick bridges, overpasses, that will be a Tuesday issue more so than anything else. But there could still be some impacts in a few spots this evening into tonight. So take it easy on the roadways, add some time to get between point A and point B. Go ahead and build in a couple of extra minutes for your Tuesday morning commute. At least we get some sunshine on the backside of the day. 38 the high temperature, 48 on Wednesday. Not bad for our holiday food drive at the local Kroger's across the Mid-South. We'll be out there all day long. At least the weather will hold out for it. We go into your Thursday, more clouds, a chance for a shower late in the day. Better chances overnight Thursday and early Friday. Not bad for the St. Jude Marathon with a high of 48 that day. We'll keep it 48 on Sunday and Monday, back to the low and hopefully some mid-50s coming back into the fold by the mid-portion next week. That will be a little closer to average comparatively to the well below average temperatures you'll experience for the next 9 to 10 days.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 digital desk. I want to show you this. This is a brand new book out, and it is from native Memphian Loretta McNary. And in it, there are all kinds of different uplifting, positive messages, like you are valued, you are needed, you are enough. And this book, Live Like You Believe, in just a few weeks, has inspired readers all the way from Florida to Dubai, sparking personal transformation, book club discussions, and women's retreats. I'm joined on the Action News 5 digital desk by Loretta herself. She is joining us to talk a little bit about this book. And Loretta, good morning to you. Tell me why you wrote this book.
Good morning, Andrew. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. The book actually wrote me. I thought I was just putting my thoughts down. I actually started 2 other books prior to this book and didn't want to edit because that meant I had to finish it and follow through. I wasn't quite ready, nor was God ready for those books to be released. So my uncle, Robert Shorter, he was admitted to the ICU in April. 4 days later, he died. But while he was in the ICU, the Lord gave me this vision that he was living while he was dying. He was well aware he was dying, but he was living. He was singing. He was talking to us. He was telling us to prepare everything. And it was sad and happiness at the same time. So I went home trying to digest it and just put those other 2 books aside and started writing this book. God gave me the term, Live Like You Believe. I wrote it in like 12 hours, 14 hours, trademarked the name, and here we are. Had it professionally edited, created the cover myself. My son and I decided that we would go with this, no picture, no anything, and here we are. Live Like You Believe, to tell people in the crushing, in the shrinking, you got to stop it. You are still loved. You're still valued. Everything that's within you, every dream you have, is still accessible and reachable. You just got to deal with your hurt and quit shoveling more hurt on top of hurt without dealing with it.
So, Loretta, a lot of times people write books about themselves or their life lessons. Who did you write this book for? And, we have thousands of people who watch each and every morning here on the digital desk. Who is it for out there, Loretta?
Initially, Andrew, it was for women who I knew were showing up day after day, being there for everybody, and going home and crying and in despair and sad. And then they get up in the morning and they repeat. What I found out by conversations and feedback, men are this book is resonating with them too. They're saying, "That's my story. Loretta, how did you know? They take the book everywhere. It's been on airplanes, on beaches. It's in Australia now. It's in Japan now." Because once people read it, they identify with it, and then it becomes their anthem song as well. So I wrote it for me to heal, but the book ended up healing, countless other people as well.
So if, a lot of times when people will write something, they can only put a small portion in the book, but the topic or the subject matter, they know much more than what they can fit in this book. Where did all this information come from? Where is this your life story? Is it your life lessons? How do you approach something like this kind of project?
Well, I knew I wanted to, it was therapy for me at first, right? I was writing my Queen Esther season, and the Lord turned it into something that I had to really be vulnerable and transparent, and other to help heal and initiate conversations about healing and shrinking and imposter syndrome and giving up on your dreams. So I wanted to make sure I told stories that were relevant. Like my story is the first chapter. And then there's a story of Queen Esther and how, she was taken from her home and she was put into a position to save other people. And she could literally be killed for it. And so I wanted to not like be killed for it, but I wanted to be in a position where I could help other people with my story and do something that moves the needle to peace and happiness and joy in a person's life right where they are today, without tons of accolades and money and people calling their name, but they got to have it themselves. And so I just started writing. And once the the comments start coming in, it had to be a conference so that people had a place to go for more and to really deal with this new version of who they are and who they want to be.
A lot of people might ask, okay, Loretta, it's a self-help book. I see them all the time on the bookshelves. What makes yours different?
I don't call it a self-help book, because that's the problem that got us here. We're trying to help ourselves individually, isolated. This is a book that creates community. Yes, I can relate to this. Yes, I'm performing inspiration. I'm performing like everything is okay. Everything is not okay. And this book gives you permission to not be okay, but not to stay there. You have to do the work. You have to heal. You have to rise, and you are called to lead, whether it's your family, on your job, in your church, or just yourself. And as you can see, that little baby right there, there's actually one of my not my grandbaby, but a cousin's cousin's baby. And so the baby was blessing the book too. So everybody who touches it, they receive some kind of energy from it, not being psycho blah blah, but just it's special. It's not just your ordinary self-help book.
If you could give a reader maybe one takeaway from your book in a sentence, what would it be, Loretta?
Everything that you've ever gone through that shook you, broke you, caused you to smile, gave you joy, and then shook you and broke you again is all needed so that you are stronger, you're wiser, you yourself learn to love yourself so that you can rinse and repeat for somebody else, the next person that's broken that you'll meet. You can give them courage and inspiration.
All right, Loretta McNary, author of Live Like You Believe, on the Action News 5 digital desk. Congratulations on writing this book and all of your success. We appreciate your time, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you, Andrew, and the same to you. You're so incredibly amazing in our community. We appreciate you for telling these stories that can't be told without you. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate those comments, Loretta. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There's a recent trend study that came out of Talker Research, and it had all kinds of different things when it came to travel, the latest travel trends, perceptions, ambitions, and generational takes of more than 2,000 customers. On the Action News 5 Digital Desk, I am joined by Van Darden. He is Director of Media Relations for Talker Research. They did the study. Definitely want to do a deep dive on this, Van. So tell me more about the study and what did you find most interesting? Good morning.
Good morning. This year's report gave us a really interesting snapshot of how Americans are traveling and how travel is tied to so much more than just vacation photos. So we've identified three major takeaways in this large data set. First, by the numbers, Americans travel 2.5 times a year, spending an average of $3,500 annually. And that's not including luxury or international travel. That's just on domestic travel. Our second big finding is that travel might lead to better mental health. So people reported feeling 67% better after taking a trip. And 40% of people with excellent mental health say that travel is a huge part of their lives, versus 12% of people who would have poor mental health say that travel is a part of their lives. And then third, how technology and social media feeds into inspiration sources. So, for example, YouTube came out overall for the #1 place that people go to find travel inspiration. But Gen Z is turning to TikTok to get inspired, and millennials are embracing some of these emerging AI tools like ChatGPT to get inspired on where to travel and even to help plan their travel.
I was going to ask the generational stuff. It's interesting, no question about it, the different generations and where they go for travel ideas and you know, just kind of influence, that sort of thing. What are some of those trips that are on people's wish list, Van?
Yeah, we asked a bucket list for people to rank their bucket list. And the #1 that came out on top, 32% of everybody we talked to said their bucket list dream vacation would be taking a road trip across the USA. So that was #1. There were some others internationally that came out on the top 5: exploring Paris, seeing the Northern Lights in Iceland, seeing the cherry blossoms bloom in Japan, and then coming to New York to visit the Statue of Liberty. All of those are on the top 5. I think what we found from a trend standpoint is that domestic travel really is trending across the top 10 and the top 20, even for dream vacations. People want to see the USA.
You know, interesting, Van, I was looking at some of the results from that study, and it sounds like mental health played a part in just travel overall, right?
That's right. That's right. So again, feeling better while traveling is really what came out of the data, or rather maybe feeling better because of traveling is what came out of that data. Again, we talked about 67% feeling mentally better after a trip. But what we got really into, and again, you can go to talkerresearch.com/travel, see the full results of this massive trend report. But that people who feel better mentally travel more. And I think that there's a correlation there that we really started to dig into. That again, 40% of people with excellent mental health say that travel is a huge part of their life. So there's clearly some kind of link between getting out, seeing the world, or even seeing the country that you live in, and just feeling better about life. I think there's something really interesting to be said about that.
No question about it. Not surprising to me. Certainly you feel kind of refreshed when you're getting out of town and just kind of getting out of the rat race that many of us are in. Did you want to mention anything else about some of the different generational things you saw in this study? I know you mentioned YouTube and TikTok, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so social media definitely was a part of it. I think what was interesting is that millennials came out as the most travel hungry of all the generations. They averaged 4.2 international trips in their lifetime. It may not sound like a lot, but 44% of boomers told us that they have never traveled abroad. So big difference there. And again, not just social media for inspiration, but how people interact with social media is quite a bit different generation to generation. 39% of everybody we surveyed said that they feel pressure to post vacation content on their social media, but that number jumps a lot higher the younger that you go. Gen Z and millennials, maybe unsurprisingly, feel this stronger pressure. 55%, 51% respectively feel the pressure to post social media content when they're traveling. Boomers, on the other hand, just 15% say that they feel pressured to pull out their phones and post while traveling. Then, of course, there's that do it for the gram mindset we've heard of. 1 in 3 people, and that's according to every generation, including boomers, say that they have done things while traveling just to take a picture to post it on social media. Got to do it for the gram.
I'm sorry, that's terrible. I'm just kidding. That's, hey, look, it's research, right? It's what you found in research. Van, thank you so much. Interesting trends. Tell our audience one more time where people can see the full study, because you guys interviewed like 2,000 people, right?
That's right, and there's so much more data and so many more trends that we uncovered that we didn't have time to talk about today. Talkerresearch.com/travel. Talkerresearch.com/travel.
All right, Van Darden, Talker Research Media Director. Appreciate you coming on the digital desk and telling us about all the interesting results that came out of that study. We appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. There are so many people across Memphis and the Mid-South that are smack dab in the middle of the holiday season. They feel the holiday spirit, and it is upon us, certainly. Then there are others that are kind of slow to the holiday season. Well, no matter what, on the Action News 5 Digital Desk, we are talking about holiday traditions in Memphis for so many families out there. So many families take part in various holiday traditions that have been a part of Memphis for many, many years. It's time to get you into the holiday spirit. I'm joined on the Action News 5 Digital Desk by Jalen Suchek. She runs I Love Memphis blog with her and her staff, and you have outlined some amazing traditions out there when it comes to the holidays, Jalen. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. Yeah, Memphis has actually so much to offer with the holidays, and this is kind of really the week that we're gearing up. So we're going to start with we'll have some old holiday traditions and some new ones this year. So to start it off, what's really exciting is that the Memphis Zoo just opened their first ever Lantern Festival over the weekend. So Friday night was the first night. This replaces the long-running zoo lights. But this is gonna be really cool. You're seeing video of it right now. There's 60 plus like massive illuminated sculptures. Many of them are animal shaped or, kind of Memphis themed, the Egyptian nods that the zoo likes to do. And you walk through the whole zoo, you see all these. There'll be Christmas lights as well. The old lights tunnel, for example, is now illuminated with lanterns. So I think it's just like a really fun new tradition. If you've been to zoo lights for a long time, this is just something totally different and different for the Memphis area. And it's great for families, date nights, all the photo opportunities. And what's really cool at the Memphis Zoo this year is doing sensory-friendly nights, and those are going to be on December 10th and January 14th for guests looking for maybe a more calmer experience. This is a separate ticket from Zoo Lights. You can buy, from the Memphis Zoo admission, you can buy that on the website. And what's really cool about this is it also runs through February 1st, so there is plenty of time to go out. I have not been out yet, but I'm really excited about Lantern Festival this year.
Me too. In fact, just like you, I was looking at those pictures, and we talked about it. We were live, one of the mornings and talking about it. Been to Zoo Lights plenty of times, and it's such a great experience. And it looks like this would be even better for so many people out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's so many more things happening too. So, Andrew, I'm going to be interested to see how many you have done in your lifetime here. But one of those long-standing traditions is Starry Nights, and that's at Shelby Farms Park. And so that will open up on November 28th, and it runs through select nights, January 3rd. Also one of the rare events that actually is open on Christmas Eve and Christmas night. But of course, one of Memphis's most iconic traditions, there are millions of lights that go across a 2-mile stretch throughout the park. It's going to be drive-through on most nights, of course, but they do also offer walk nights, bike nights. They even have the Buffalo Glow race, which is a really cool opportunity to do a little 2-mile run through the park. And then, as you can see, also carriage rides are also an option if you want to make it even that much more magical. But this is a really great one to go to. It is Shelby Farm's largest annual fundraiser, which supports the park for all year. And you can stop on your way in. They have like a hot cocoa stand or coffee. And so you can have that in your car as you drive through the lights. But always love going to Starry Nights.
Yes, I'm right there with you. Starry Nights, we're 2 for 2 right now. Let's keep it going, Jalen.
All right, so next one is Holiday Wonders and Memphis Botanic Garden. This is another great one. I think this is like a really just good. I mean, they're all of course very kid friendly, but I just think this one is really kid friendly. The kids are really encouraged to run and play. You know, they have the big backyard which has the snow, and then there's these big light up dots for kids to play around. So it's just really interactive for them, and just fun for the whole family. You know, the parents, you can get a festive cocktail or hot cocoa, apple cider at the entrance, and keep you warm while you walk throughout the gardens. But they have a ton of lights, a lot of festive like photo ops that they've been adding lately. So, you know, you can get cute pictures of the kids, or can maybe knock out some holiday family photos as well. But they do a great job of having kind of theme nights. You see the fire pits, Santa Sundays. They even have a dog-friendly night, so you can have your pup with you throughout there. Food trucks on the weekends, and this will run November 28th through December 30th.
Love having a nice, tasty beverage, walking through Holiday Wonders, enjoying the holiday season. Really kicks into high gear. 3 for 3. Let's go, Jalen.
All right, now this next one is the oldest holiday display in Memphis. This is Enchanted Forest at the Pink Palace, and this dates back to the 1950s. And so this goes very, you know, full vintage Christmas nostalgia, kind of the feelings that we all remember growing up as kids. You have the festival trees, so a ton of trees decorated. You have Santa photo ops, model trains. The singing reindeer is also a really fun attraction. The gingerbread village is also another one. Again, just kind of just really that nostalgic feel. And what I love about this is a really good daytime event. So all the other ones, you know, you need the lights, you need it to be dark. This is something that you can take the kids during the day, and it is open from Tuesdays to Saturdays. It's open already now. It opened on the 15th, and it runs through December 28th. And obviously a key point to this is that it benefits Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. So another good cause.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And my first Christmas here, some 19 years ago, I brought my kids who were very young at the time, and we enjoyed Enchanted Forest for sure. Let's keep it going.
All right, so this one's a little bit different. This one is not one you need admission for, but it is something that I've noticed that a lot of people maybe don't know about, and that is the South Main streetlights. So on the southern end of the South Main neighborhood in downtown, all the buildings are kind of draped with these, you know, very pretty lights that you can just kind of, you know, stroll, walk through, you know, go to different restaurants or bars. I definitely recommend stopping at Zio Amato Gelato. You can get a nice hot cocoa from them, and then kind of just take in the neighborhood glow, and then definitely keep walking up north, and you'll end at the downtown holiday tree. That's right outside of the Majestic Grill, and they will actually have their lighting ceremony this Thursday with a holiday market, free to attend. It runs from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. They'll have free photos with Santa, complimentary cookies, hot cocoa, music, and it's just a lot of fun. They've really the DMC has done a really good job at elevating this event and making it bigger and better each year. I think last year they had, you know, train rides for the kids, so just a lot of fun to really kick off the holiday season if you haven't yet.
How long has this been going on? Because this is the only one that I haven't been to out of all the ones we're talking about. How long is it? Is it gone a few years?
Yeah, I want to say it's been about 3 or 4. It's definitely something that started in, I think, maybe 2021 in that pandemic time. But yeah, they turned the lights on. They turned them on, I think, actually Halloween night this year, and so it'll run through the holidays. But it's definitely just a really good way to get the downtown looking really festive, and I think one of the most charming parts about South Main.
Well, I'm going to have to do it now that you've said it. So what else we got?
Okay, we have it. Another one. This is really good in downtown. Doesn't cost anything to go to. It's the Peabody, just kind of Christmas experience. They always do just a fabulous job of decorating in there, and it's just it's personally one of my favorite holiday traditions. I love to go to there in the main lobby
and, have a nice cocktail and just enjoy like the warmth of the Peabody. I think it's just the perfect time to visit it during the holidays. They have that big Christmas tree. It's gigantic. They'll do a lighting ceremony on November 28th, which is for hotel guests only. But you'll be able to visit it throughout the holidays any day that they're open, which is every day because it's a hotel. But definitely, yeah, get a holiday cocktail. And they also have their own little gingerbread, like village display every year. But it's just so warm and Christmassy to me there.
I agree with you. It's definitely a Douglas tradition. In fact, we used to have our Christmas card every year taken in front of that tree for like 8 or 9 years. So we love the Peabody year round, but certainly during the holidays, it is outstanding.
Absolutely, yeah. And then, there's so many holiday events too. We have the Beale Street Holiday Parade coming up. That's going to be on December 13th. This will go down Beale Street. And that's at 2 p.m. And we have a full guide that really breaks down all of the individual events alongside these, holiday traditions. So, Thanksgiving is a little bit later this year. So I think people got to be a little more intentional in making those plans because most of these open up, Friday after Thanksgiving. So you don't want the holidays to pass you by without going to at least a few of these.
No question about it. And the I Love Memphis blog is free for everybody to enjoy and check out and just mark it off. Mark off the different places that you go for your holiday tradition across Memphis. Jalen Suchek on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Thank you for coming on as always. Appreciate the holiday traditions and everything you do throughout the year.
Thanks, Andrew. I guess I'll say happy holidays now. We're just making it official now.
Yes, we are making it official, Jalen. Thank you. All right, that does it for us here in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon. We have Action News 5 Midday coming up at the top of the hour with Jerry Askin and Ariana Poindexter. They'll take you through the next hour with all your top headlines, your stories, and the all-important forecast. There is a chance parts of the Mid-South going to get a little bit of a wintry mix over the next 12 to 24 hours. We'll have to stay tuned for the latest on that. Of course, we'll keep an eye to the sky here. Download the weather app, Action News 5 weather app for more information. And then midday, we'll have the latest conditions. And then later this afternoon with meteorologist Ron Childers, we'll have an update to that forecast. And then join me once again bright and early tomorrow morning, another edition of the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We are on from 7 until 11 on all of our digital platforms, actionnews5.com, our free news app, all of our digital platforms like Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and Roku. And you can watch us on digital channel 5.3. Have a wonderful day.